information because one is interesting Gambian public discourse. Kuneka muna ñew fi di wax ne I know this, I know. Man say who said it. I was not in those coalition talks. Everything I know is true hearsay. If anybody claims to be there, you can come and tell people that. But I haven't seen any written agreement. Have you seen agreement that that's what they agreed?
No.
No, lalake. It's all hearsay. Okay? And our party, our position was, when this thing was brought up, we Alhaji Ousainou Darboe said, no, we will go to tactical alliance. Yeah. Send a copy of the agreement to Domi Rew.
Okay, let's allow us to start.
Balamudem, he said a very anonymous donors, anonymous vehicle. Man say,
right. Yes.
That was one thing that I publicly apologize because I'm one of the people who actually defended that. And I realized that I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. Okay? That anonymous donor is a vehicle. I'm being honest here. Political my friend. I defended it. But later I went to Bantaba and said, you know what, on hindsight, I erred. I shouldn't have defended that anonymous because we need to
know. If I know what I know now.
Yeah, if I know now. Okay. Right. Because, don't matter, in life, people make mistakes. Prime ministers, leaders make mistakes. There is nobody here. Nyunfi, Boris Johnson said something after U-turn on Brasik, Wahanako, Wahed in the UK. Politics is like that. There's nobody who's saying the man must doom in life. Okay? So you will make mistakes. I made a mistake on that. But okay, Alhaji Ousainou Darboe ne defat gena during the term condemned us anonymous donors. I would be interested to have that video. Musumako Dega, Manko Soga Dega right now. And I'm not saying that he didn't say it, but I would be very interested if he can help us with those videos where Alhaji Ousainou Darboe started publicly condemned anonymous because if he defended it when he was in government.
But if I'm not mistaken, man must not take a video about it.
Silent video with me.
Yeah. Sometimes they throw some videos, don't you pay attention, you just let it go. But
but let me tell you one thing. If that video happened, don't you think NPP guys would be sharing that all over now? They remind us. Because right now with this party, when the divorce happened between UDP and MPP, they bring back Alhaji Ousainou Darboe's old videos, but I've never seen that video being brought back. So they would have brought it back.
No, the thing is, back then it was in TikTok. You know, TikTok you can edit quickly.
But Hana Facebook, Hana TikTok like more social media.
No, but do you ever edit a video on Facebook?
Yeah, you can. You can.
No, do you ever did it?
Man.
Yeah.
So let's agree that. Let's agree that it doesn't exist until we see it, please.
Bambas, CapCut.
Until we see it, please.
Do you use CapCut? CapCut people don't download videos. Facebook.
Okay, Segu, let's forget about that video now because none of us have that video now. So
no, man.
Wow, no one.
Feo, magnon deglus no waji Osofia, mina agreement is agreement yo de. Anyway, why is there on Discord? So I went online and then Magnon tried to maybe refresh my mind on the coalition agreement, especially leading to the parliamentary. The Point newspaper guy, he published an article. It was my party, and this was published on the 31st of August 2020. So my not explain what led to the parliamentary. Okay. So according to my Silumwa, when they were forming the coalition 2016, they've never discussed what would happen during parliamentary after presidential election.
Thank you.
The discussion was centered on how to remove Yaya. And I think earlier is my discussion with that was a foresight, but they have not the guy buying this will become future problems. So after Yaya Wache, they had two meetings presided over by President Eric Adama Barrow. President Adama Barrow at Keraba Hotel. The coalition executive debated exhaustively but remained divided. two contention issues were debated. One, going as a coalition would weaken political parties. Exactly. And the second one, going as a coalition is consistent with the coalition spirit. And this was the position of PDOIS and other parties. So, my Fatimine, the meeting ended in an impasse, adding that consequently, each went on his own. So the statement further indicated that GMC, UDP, and NRP agreed to pull their weight together in what became known as the Tactical Alliance.
Okay.
So, however, must start the point fingers to Hussein. What they agreed within them three, so you guys worry them into any constituency, they don't hold one party more am the strongest new by party but lead. But I mean UDP betrayed that. At least it means each party will respect the subjective strength of the other party in constituencies or ward where each dominant in terms of support base. However, this principle collapsed while before nomination of parliamentarian candidates. At least with GMC, we didn't feel that we were justly treated during the process leading towards candidate selection and nomination for constituencies.
I'm laughing at my, not you.
I don't know. So, consequently, the entire idea crashed. So, he said three protagonists agreed on tactical alliance. Protagonists, if you need more GMC, UDP, and NRP. May further reveal there. One of the constituencies for my party, Mwambumbugono contest, which was the Woolly West, UDP Upper River chairman, led by someone named Buba Drame, openly endorsed, supported, and campaigned for an independent candidate against a GMC candidate, a supposedly tactical alliance partner. To avoid internal conflict within the alliance, GMC sent an executive delegation to the UDP leadership during the nomination process to discuss and resolve the contradictions within the alliance to no avail. GMC and UDP therefore put up a candidate against each other at Nyamina West, Tumana, Kantora, Jokado, Nyomi, and so on. So did NRP as well. So what the public should know is that the tactical alliance exists only in name, but not in practical. According to the UDP leadership, the entire country was their support base. And so there was very little that they were willing to negotiate. So, this brings to my earlier point. UDP leadership, the entire country is their support base. So now, having this doctrine, no one in their right senses would want to go into a coalition without having to sort out this parliamentary-led coalition or parliamentary-led elections post-Barrow in 2026. So they will have two options to put in front of the Gambians. Then option be more. Party leaders would have to come up with a policy document or statement. For one, their coalition agreements would only revolve around removing Barrow. After removing Barrow, who win? Then Japan party bobu moneta in power. Kuneka do hiswalam balanyo ama niro ngaro. Oh, they find a way of circumventing this thing, into an agreement. It will help guide them towards the executive election and towards the parliamentarian election. So, entire discussion here, this is my point. They feel I'm
very happy that you dug into this information. You brought this Mai's interview. I think it's refreshing that we deal with facts. Like Mai was one of the stakeholders in the coalition. One would expect we can take his word for it. And I'm very happy that there was no agreement about the approach to parliamentary elections. So people who are accusing UDP, there was an agreement and UDP began to also an apology. Because since this discussion started, there are allegations, they had an agreement and we back out. And that's not true based on what Mai said. And again, yes, I understand Mai's frustration. If that was what happened, Tactical Alliance and UDP, Bobo Drame, I think used to be a UDP member, decided to support, and that was wrong. I think that was not good. That's not good. If you had an agreement with people, and Tactical Alliance, I understand Mai's issue, because Mai doesn't have a base anywhere. Where in Gambia you can say this is Mai's base. Mai has never won any election in that country. GMC has never won a single election in that country. So what the Tactical Alliance is based on was traditionally in areas where NRP wins elections, so NRP candidate will be there. And UDP did not put up candidates against NRP. Okay? But Mai doesn't have a stronghold anywhere in the country.
No, why say that is being this doing this service anywhere because
No, they
APS
do. Let me tell you,
everywhere.
Ahmad Ba
foofu noonu mais ne mooy ñi nga xam ne ñu ngee wax naan lii ak lii lañ defut ak lii moo tax ñoom ñu bañ a bokk si coalition bi ñooñu ñooy di very people yi nga xam ne ñoo undermine di coalition rek gaa yëpp jóg tàccoo ko boobu ñoom ñoo bokk mbuus moo tax li moo wax fii affaire parlement bi tactical alliance bi la moo support because time boobu ñooñu ba àndoon nekk benn ba gaa yi génn def benn vidéo ñu dem round am na vidéo bi ñu def ñu sol flag may téye loxo looy daabo téye ñu téye seen flag yi nan vidéo boobu doon dem gisoon nga nataal bi xam naa ki leen teelu red kii teelu yellow ñoo bokkoon but waxi Mbay man waxi Mbay I'm not buying it. May is not telling the truth. Lii soo bëggee am the evidence you can go and find out, you can dig out more evidence man xam naa
waaye na great thing ka yow déglu nga ma bu baax
dégg naa point newspaper ñoo ko publish nga ne point newspaper ñoo ko publish maa laa woon ne go back and do more findings.
Great Tinker.
I'm different.
What is Great Tinker's name? Great Tinker, what's your name?
It doesn't matter. Just carry on with your discussions.
No, but I'm interested to know your name.
No. It doesn't matter. Where are you not using MJ during Panderis days?
Yeah, but that's fine. But it was dictatorship. We don't have dictatorship now.
Let me just say this too.
No, I'm just curious.
No, it doesn't hold any relevance here. Let's just continue. Let's take the Great Tinker. Whenever you refer to me, I will answer. There's no point. Say who? Then I put out video, man. I will look for all those videos. I will go back and look for it.
No. Os, make your comment, and I will also make a comment on what he said.
I will bring those videos. Sobeyaa.
Go ahead. I think Bamba's also want to say something.
So Mansehu, like I know that we are both speaking in our capacity as just supporters of our parties because I am not speaking on behalf of APP Sobeyaa because I am not mandated to do that. Why we are just pulling out observations and how to move forward or how to go about the coalition. Because I think the new supporters soon understanding some of the constraints that we are going to face in the future, then it is also going to help our leaders pursue them about consultation process with all the So man, this is the two contentions issues Buvaneka. We have an executive removing in ñu génnee ko benn yoon a benn problème la and then suñ ko génnee ku munti ka win kooku dafa am incumbency power so decide pour def la Ba Ousainou wane I don't want to disintegrate my party then it means that he is going to use the incumbency power pour mu mun a pressurize or pour mu mun a lobby or whatever la moo def through for the rest of the country pour gars yi votal ko te this same thing may fa the highlight na loolu noonu Mine the killer don't accuse Minister Lamin Endiba. Mine using the Ministry of Local Government at the time, Honorable Lamin Endiba, community leaders such as chiefs and alcalos were subtly pressured and out of keeping their position, mostly supported UDP candidates across the country. I am speaking from personal knowledge and experience. So it brings us back to the incumbency because legi ya dem na. And man, I can remember, I'm not small being a kilifa buneka farafnes, American Namasiwa Bini. They were adamant APRC supporters, no APRC supporters. The moment you call out the results, they're going to be in 1 month, they all cross-capited to UDP. Right. So New Demba, UDP, and then NPP started having issues. You cross-out carpet them to NPP. So what that shows, Moine, these people, they're only following the incumbency. Because they want to maintain political influence within the region. Secondly, they just want the flow of cars. Because Filas and Depans Naikatelila guy have high politician and could talk no under. So if we come into a coalition now, alien form a coalition, New Jital Ba Ousainou or New Jital ESA for the main purpose of removing Barrow. Then immediately after you remove Barrow, coalition bo no dafa disintegrate. And then
how muna living fee duga fee tutera.
Balangena continue. Mage interruption listen.
Dr. Demal.
We have two other guests. Suma Harid Bimumfis and construction. Kuba Brev. So if we can include them in the conversation. Also, commency. Yanage attack great thinker ak yoyu. So na nasi advice then dinado dilen block. No one is fighting here. Nit ñi dañoo nekk di am a conversation. UDP is not being targeted in any way. To say the Lee ak Bambas yëpp, I think they're handling themselves brilliantly. Mun nañoo handle seen boppa. So please, su fekkee ne mënu leen a déglu wala bëggu leen a nekk da ngeen a attaque haste si comments yi, kindly exit stage left. Mun ngeen a dem wala dinaa door di leen block.
No, see always a good spot. See who, mom?
Exactly, they're handling themselves. It's just a bunch of people having a conversation. Déglu leen ngeen waxtaan soo leen mënee egg ngeen egg soo leen ko mënutee ngeen dem. I will not tolerate any attacks in this comments. All right.
Malako Chairman Delta Force, yes sir.
I think it's important you let the other people also chime in because
No, seriously, I love my girls.
Kuba gone. Malako Kuba break gone.
no, I did Bambas wants to say something, but I think there are other two guests.
Bambang Balamu Queen of his thought, he didn't come and I will come after.
Oh, Kuba, thank you so very much. That's so nice of you. Okay, Lima Buga living fit tuti, because Mike is always very, very interested about this living how to call it come nimko wahe. Like we should have a policy when it comes to how the coalition is going to govern and all that. And this na le lulu dafko nyor torop. Why also Liga want to understand, unfortunately, and I repeat it, unfortunately, suñ dëkk bi loi yuñ fa can't be changed bala 2026. Moo nekk suñ constitution bi duñ ko mën a change before 2026. Te lii lan la mooy cause unless and until we have a candidate and a very sincere leader koo xamante ne kooku mooy lead the coalition su fekkee dañ war a am coalition. If not, no matter what kind of policy or agreement or whatever signature we signed. Someone is Gundo, can you please mute, please? Thank you. Yeah. So if not, no matter lunch sign or whatever policy buñ andi, it's not gonna work. So fekkee ne amuñ sincere leader ko xamante ne he will be genuine enough and more responsible enough to abide by the agreement of the coalition. Because amuñ laws yoo xamante ne dina mun a just like 2016. Dina la fàttalikul sax. There was this committee called appointment committee that was formed during the 2016 coalition, and Honorable Halifa Saleh talked about it. This how to call it appointment committee should be responsible, or they should be consulted when the president is going to appoint ministers or fire ministers. But that policy wasn't followed, and the president used his executive powers to fire and hire. So lima buga leral fi rek mo nekk ne no matter what agreement lañ am wala ban lifin lañ am, like Sehu earlier said here, our constitution supersedes any law or any agreement in that country. So suñ amutee leader boo xamante ne dafa sincere, dafa nekk nit koo xamante ne dafa déggu, mu nekk nit ku jub te di taxaw ci baatam, we are just going to have the same thing. So our wish and our prayers are ñu am leader boo xamante ne dina nekk nit ku jub su ñëwee mu changeal suñu laws yi. Unless and until we change those laws, li nga nekk di wax ne I don't think we can achieve that. The only a sincere leader boo xamante ne dafa jub rek moo ñu mën a jox loolu. So ma daana rangoon fii nii ñeneen ñëw. Thank you so very much.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Again, the Falbe Nyadi Ngamobi Kontong. I am content natura pour nek a news platform bifi content. Honestly, I am overwhelmed because more lebeja milialonko, you people are well known in the Gambian politics. You know a lot about the Gambian politics. So having people like you discussing about our politics, I feel Bobo platform la bo xamne every Gambian should be proud of it because we will end up coming with a good solution for us to move forward. So in short, where I want to start from, I came basically maybe a little bit late. Why, from the topic, from the discussion, for Master Sibamba from Daniel, we need to have honest leaders for Gambia Muna Guinness Luminata. Politic mom, game la. Kuneka fulane ngai support, bogu kuneka sa right la. Why jange na si histoire ne Gambia, pour ñu mëna change government. Si histoire, benn parti mu ko lu leen jànga waxuñ ne loolu mooy xew nag but loolu leen jànga si histoire from history from Jawara's time ba Jammeh leader yi bari wuñ waaye time bi xaw naa gudda tuuti depuis independence Gambia musuta win incumbent president si election ñun loolu ñun ñu xam nañ ko loolu lu tax may dina emphasize that for us to know from that the same history liñ fa jàng
okay bala nga emphasize hana 2016 kin génne du incumbent
mama tuuti rek ma jeexal mama tuuti rek
okay
so loolu si loolu laa doon ñëw ni nga ñëw ma ne si the same history suñ ko gestoo won nañu ne tamit ne benn yoon rek lañ mën a génne président si election yàlla def ko 2016 boobu moo ñu dugal si trouble buñ nekk nii ñun ñëpp loolu lu ko waral dañ war a bàyyi xel Gambia xawma I think is Oos moo ko fi doon wax si waxtaanam mu ne time Yaya Jammeh alkaali yi seet yi fan lañ nekkoon si Yaya Jammeh bu élection ba jotee coalition bi nekk fa ñëpp a ngi woon coalition bu NPP wi ne fan lañ mujjee NPP si waxam fu mu daanele mu ne lu waral loolu nekkul ne alkaali yi jànguñ nekkul ne xamuñ lan moo leen njëriñ waaye liñ xam mooy seen poos seen palace seen tur bi te loolu ku la ko jox ñoom kooku leen dee saaneel mooy président bi from that small narration if we are honest to ourselves nañ ko spread out si biir Gambia bi yëpp te ku nekk si biir government either like nga baro o like loo baro soo nekkee ministre rek ñun suñ nit ñi luñ xam mooy su government change it doesn't matter your qualification it doesn't matter yow lan nga xam waaye li ñuy def mooy yow comme que government bi li nga bokka yow doo fi bokka loolu leen jànga te ku fa toog lu mu dee xelaat moom tamit mooy su ñuy wiinee man duma am place bi so kooku day support government mu wàcca si police yi si soldaar yi because Gambia majority could they employ more than anybody else if we all stand alone is the government. So lolu pour ñu mën ko génné fokk ñu am coalition man lolu la gom waxuma ne lolu mo wara am without lolu du am why si gatal man lolu dama gom ne we need to pull our powers together because ñun ñu nekkut government bari nañ ñun ñoo ëpp government bi waaye suñ boolewul rek government bi daf ñu dee ëppa su UDP jëlee waalam doy jël waalam Sobeyaa jël waalam waala yooyu noonu moo dee tax government bi mu ñu dee ëppal election karta parce que ñun employé ñoom majority of them waxuma ñëpp de waaye majority of them ñooñu dañ koo sànnil ak benn yu moo taana ñoo am si biti ñoo xam ne employed leen waaye ba tey ñoom dinañ leen sànnil ñun ñu nekkul government people ñoo xam ne what they think is right for the country so ñoom they will not blindly follow the government or somebody else who align with their feelings and what they think is right foofu la ñuy dem pour ñun ñëpp suñ luñ foog ne dafa right pour ñu mun a am doole man li ma jànga ci histoire mooy dañ war a ñëw together te suñu ñëw together lu gën a am solo mooy nañ leen bàyyi xel lan moo njëriñ Gambia ñun ñëpp ku ne lan mooy njëriñ suma parti lan mooy njëriñ suma political career lan mooy njëriñ suma post nañ ko tegee booram ngum mun nañ see dellu waaye dañ nekk si another crossroad boo xam ne boobu lañ nekkoon in 2016 yàlla dimbale ñu ñëw together fu mujjee ñaaw na rafetut waaye loolu warut a tax ñu bañ a try again because loolu laa gëm ne moo ñu mun a jéeni su ñoo def coalition am na ku ko fi wax li gën a am problème mooy am leader bu jub dëgg la ñun ñëpp xamoon nañ ne 3 years bu ñu doon campagne 2016 du loi bi waaye parti yu fa nekkoon ñëpp man 2016 décembre laa jógee Gambia def naa campagne sànni naa karta dee bu Yaya Jammeh ne dee bu mu annoncé ne du wàcca 3 days later la fly jógee Gambia yëpp suma kanam la ne every party fii suñu waxee ne agreement boobu amul boobu after election la waaye ñoom ñëpp ñëwoon nañ si suñ bantabaay yi ñun man suma dëkk lañ commencé campagne ñoom ñëpp taxaw nañ suma bantabaay ñu ne 2 years bi lañu fee def suñ fi jógee waaca lu tax loolu munta am ëllëg loolu war nañ koo laajte suñ boppa ak ñoom ñu ko waxoon xam ne du luwa waaye wax ñu ko ba buñ amee luñ bëgg a am ñoo di ñu naan ne du luwa façon jëf yooyu nag may ma daaneel man su may wax suñoo taana nañ taana koo xam ne du mel noonu koo xam ne dafay wax tey ëllëg mu waxeet based on ñoom ñëpp soo leen laajtee the funniest part dafa am kuy écho the funniest part koo fa laajte lu mu laa wax mooy during that time man soo gisee ma wax lii wala soo gisee suma leader mu wax lii wala soo gisee suma leader mu def lii because politically boobu moo nekkoon the right thing which is true because politician danga said what is your interest politically. That is why they said in politics there is no permanent enemy, there is no permanent friend. It's all about your interest. Looloo tax ku nekk defoon li nga defoon waaye suñ jiitaloon interest réew mi because kenn waxut ne li tax ma waxoon lii moo favor woon the country no moo favor woon my political career ñun ñëpp xamoon nañ ne suñ taxawoon together as a coalition Barrow doole bu mu am tey du ko am njiit yaa ko dooleel ñun taanoon góom leen ñu ne kaay leen ñu tànn ko boo xam ne ñun ñëpp a koo bokka ñu ne déedéet waaw ku nekk demal sa political interest ñu def tactical alliance loolu is their choice ku nekk am nga right la def lu la ne waaye ñooñu toog luñ laajte Barrow ñu ne duñ ko laajte sant yàlla wax ngeen fi ay vehicles yow yaa ngi gis sa njiit mu ngi start actions yoo xam ne one boobu is clear corruption si biir àdduna bi yëpp yow nga toog less than a year nga mun a jënd 42 pickups fi xaw ma 50 something jokko suñ parliamentarians you cannot tell us fan nga ko jëlee and today ñu bëgg a complain di naan waaw ñun suñ géej bi dañ ko jël est-ce que maybe waxuma ne loolu la waaye maybe ñu jël géej bi suñ loxo ñoo ko joxoon pick-up boobu pour mu jënd parliamentarians yami.
Yeah, okay. So mun nga wrap up for about a minute pour keneen ñëw.
fu ma bëgg a wrap up mooy lu tax may wax yi yëpp is not grudges waaye suñoo taana bëgg a am coalition man li ma gëm ne moo ñu mun a diine ne lañ ut njiit boo xam ne suñ ko taxawalee ku ko bañ danga ko bañ si lu la neex waaye doo ko mun a bañ si jikkoom doo ko mun a bañ si jub doo ko mun a bañ si ku koo xam ne kaadoom mooy lay fam lum la wax tey si loolu lay nekk ba balaa ilaa yoomi diin waaye ku la wax ne jox ma suuf soo ko joxee mu jéena la ñoom may ngeen fee tuddañ ñoom yëpp gis nañ ko fii everybody is for their pocket su leen Adama Barrow employé they become boy su leen daaxee ñu nekk jali si mbedda bi lii la ma def lii la doon def so loolu dañ ko war a bàyyi xel ñun as Gambia foofu laa bëgg a daanele suñ buggee tànn njiit boo xam ne moo ñu mun a oo ñun pour ñëpp ñëw nañ tànn koo xam ne su ootee kuy bañ a ñëw dangay bañ a ñëw because buggoo réew mi waaye nekkul ne kooku danga ko mun a jox anything loo xam ne defoon na ko fi yaagut waxoon na ko fi yaagut te nit ñi duñ nelaw di ñu mun a laajte ay vidéo duñ la ko mun a woon tey waaye lu fi waaye waxoon 2016 ba tey loolu mu ngi si xole nit ñi te ñun ñëpp dégg nañ ko gis nañ ko jërëjëf.
Ok, jërëjëf naka tur bi kabu ok kuba bari ngeen koy wax anyway li may wax mooy ne ñun Gambien si suñ problème itam li si bokk mooy suñ line of communication yaakaar naa ne buñ fi jógee war nañuy dem taxaw ci seetu di wax ak suñuy bopp pour mën a jàng bu ñu toogee ci plateforme bokk ko mbooloo ngay bàyyi xel ne léegi-léeg ngay alaaw ñi nga bokkal plateforme bi ñi interject day neexal waxtaan bi parce que daf day am point yoo xamante ne nii boromam daf ko ci bëgg a cabaxal rek laaj la quick correction nga tontu ko ci continue the conversation minul ne dañ lay yàqal wala nothing but ñun suñ problème mooy suñ commencé di wax boo àndee moom na ko yes I agree with you si li ngay wax sax moom dafay foog ne yaa ngi koy interject wala da nga ko bëgg a kii pour ñu jox la pour ñu be patient pour bàyyi wante xel in case somebody throw a correction quick correction nga mun see answer and continue your conversation loolu gis naa ne daf ñu jafe daf ñu manqué lool so ñi nga xamante ne dañu commencé toog si plateforme kañ na they don't get used to it
mën naa ñëw
non man maa ngi wax dama may ma daanal bro li may wax ak ngi nii you see we have to be patient yow yaa ngi ñëw fekk nit ñi si plateforme ñu ngi wax soo toon bu jotee rek we will allow you ñun xam nañ ne yaa ngi ci plateforme bi di wax ni ki naa ko mun nga wax I don't get it ok ñëwal college yow gis naa ne am na kii mu ngi la fi jiitu ba ñëwal
Mohamed la wala Gundo
Mohamed mu ñëw den
Mohamed wala
Mbadu man maa war a ñëw Gundo
waaw os mu ngi wax waaw ok moderator bi ajal ma kii war a kii si big screen kan la os
moderator bi dañ ko faya
Mohamed yóbbul ma Mohamed big screen
ma ne docteur mooy moderator dañ ko faya nekku di def liggéeyam
non kii du Mohamed nga dale
Gondo
Gondo Gondo la wala Mohamed kan moo si ñëw
Mohamed nañu
doomi réew
Mohamed ñëwal
doomi réew
déggu
after Gondo su waxee
jërëjëf naka ngeen def nag
Gondo just 1 second like I'm just gonna make a request because good enough this person who came here said a lot of things and to me throwing shades and Buganako response because at the end of the day some when words are said you know where Fumo Jublu. So man, I mean I would have a right of response on the previous caller comments in Muafi, please, if you don't mind. Thank you.
So keep a response.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Mohamed.
Wow, na ngeen def nag maa leen di nuyu yéen yëpp. di wane façon conversation si moom baax na si political discourse bi waaye dama feel like ne at some point then they kind of get sentimental with some of suñ positions because da nga realize suñ nekkee di discourse this is politics la nekkul just ne it's just anything it's politics so dafa am yenn certain things yoo xamante ne foog naa ne dafa important ñu understand ko man nag maa ngi wax waaye dinaa njëkk a wax ne maybe a lot of people will feel that I'm affiliated to a political party, especially UDP. Well, I just want to say that I'm going to make sure that my opinion, nekuma di opinion based on the man feel our support, well, I feel our support. Why? Because man confident Jema explain the platform is important to man. Because man tell do as a platform. So I feel that this platform is good-willed and it's important that you have a discussion together. Because NPP Neko, so the NPP Neko is a different story. Why? Because NPP Neko it's important because you live in like opposition, like most opposition supporters. So I feel like it's good to chat a way forward, but I'm never important. Where in terms of some of these sentiments, foog naa ne tam dafa important ñu be measured in terms of what is real and what's not real. What happened 2016, most of it, when it comes to coalition and getting incumbent out, most of ñun ñëpp suñ parties yi wala entity support, they were new in doing excuse for whatever happens. But I don't understand it. For the most part, first of all, now starting as a tactical alliance, I don't explain. But I feel that tactical alliance be mom. So you go explain fini, you go pin on personalities and things like that. Mostly, so you go with personalities, then you're not going to make discussions, then go miss. So I feel it's important to meet Buba Monica and you understand it. Politics and it's about numbers, right? I'm not here I'm numbers. I'm not here in coalition between 2016. Guy in ministerial position, positions, you have the coalition be a courtesy blend coalition building accord. Lolmota, Numuna why do numbers? Because you pull any number of votes. Why just a side note. But what I feel Monica important Monica way forward fini, you try that you make sure you chat way for while important is not you bari you feel executive members in any political party. So some positions you bari we are talking to political parties themselves. So how man one position man right now this my position. I just want to clarify certain things but you move forward because when you the discourse, for example, comme dama de gis yéen da nga gis ne party militants dañoo def li ñi bëgg a wax ne party bi ci boppam la comme like PDOIS wala UDP wala dereba so dama de feel ne loolu tam daf de mostly nekk loo xamante ne daf de sway focus yi conversations yi mostly because party position ak militancy seen position yéen ay daf de nekk ne du de nekk benn yaa ngi understand militant yi mun nañu am seen yenn position parties itam am seen yenn position waaye I feel like lu tax man discussion bi man nekk di ko join for the most part moo nekk ne di nga dégg opinion boo xamante ne at least dina mën a shape bigger opinion because fii ñu ngi discuss waaye suñ fi jógee ñu nit ne like maybe 10 people or less than that ñun mënuñoo change lu ëppa si election yi Gambia waaye suñ discussion fii man ma feel like suñ discussions is going to like build something loo xamante ne dina mën a inform the citizenry for the most part how man waaye man I feel like ne okay loolu tam lu important la pour ñu mën a discuss loo xamante ne dina affect wala dinañ mën a chart a way forward bu ñoo mën a approach the majority of the city because the problem moo nekk ne ñun Gambia dañ dee nekk di def coalition or whatever incumbent su amee ak lu am nekk power si executive bi mostly moo dee change lu ñun ñëpp dañ dee bëgg a decide leena mu am waaye da ngaa gis ne lu nekk loi bi si boppam sometimes dañ ko dee miss for example si coalition 2016 gars yi 3 years ñu ne 3 years la gars yi doon bëgg a pour président bi saa fekk ñu suñ constitution bi waxu 3 years so da ngaa gis ne loopholes yooyu noonu su ñëwee léegi ñu war koo correct in another way problème moo dee gën a bëri waaye dinaa emaagum foofu noonu and then ma question ma pose ñu jéem a xool loolu naka la whether dañ nekk di jéem a chat a way forward pour lu ñoo approacher maybe nit yi yëpp wala dañ just nekk di bëgg a continue to yenn certain things yoo xam ne dafa passé because am na yu passé xam nañ ko ba pare waaye politics numbers la te personalities does not matter what matters mostly is also numbers waxuma ne it doesn't matter entirely but what matters at the end of the day is the numbers that you bring on the table so I feel like mostly personalities will always be anything kan moo expect on ne Barrow dina nekk ko xamante ne moo nekk lu mu nekk ni tey wala may dina dem join Barrow or di wax ne
accidental president Barrow dafa ñëw accidentally
Baro wa mun nañu wone fa ñu accidentally tamit de waaye tamit
no, guys,
get over loolu tamit
thank
you
you.
Baro accidental president dañu wara get over
he come accidentally. No one know Barrows.
he came accidentally
No one know him.
Baro mustañu accidental ñun ñëpp d'accord pour tana ko 2021 everybody had the opportunity pour tana kenen but Baro len tana so bu nañ stop loolu dafa still loolu waruñ di ko use di wax ne Baro is an accidental president right now lañ wara push lu away from
He's the accidental president. They
that's
just
your
choose
opinion
him.
that's fine why
He
daal
got him accidentally.
not in 2021 waaw nañ may keneen
ana foog naa Gundo moo war a ñëw because Seku it mi ngi bëgg a tontu then ko Seku mun naa ñëw then
let Gundo go first. Yeah.
Gundo go on, yeah.
Yeah, hello, my name. I mean, yeah, so man, I think my join put on to some of these people, you know, they knew to throw shit here and there without, going directly at the people they're throwing their shades at. Like Kunyo before Muhammad, right? No one, this generalization of politicians, they are all the same. Mai komi nyomye benalen hanga. They know nekal jadi purubaro. Next minute guy nyo hanga change. Lolo mai moko def. You understand? So but lolo what hanga generalize ne benalen. For example, like if Khalifa Salah or Sidia Jara or Lawyer Dabo were greedy, right? If they were greedy, so they no commerce in your mile. Huh?
Ngundu.
Wow, man,
Yangi echo, danga echo. Lolo, yangi hamo fan si ban area ngale.
Nanga background noise.
No, the guy mood ñeneen ñi nekk ci platform bi ñoon ngay moy.
So, Seku mu.
No, is Gundo there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you carry on.
Yeah. So come today, no. They are like greedy. By this time, I don't make it.
So sabal da nga moy sa bopa.
No, dapat general abi nga ñëw bul close sa livre di gel na dugar dina bay.
Hello?
Ñu la dégg.
Yeah,
Léegi mu nga wax yow.
Hello?
Demal.
Okay, well, call a mute. Okay, Ngundu demal.
Wow, okay. So Lula Negari one come this generalization, whenever they feel it's very unfair to some of the politicians, you know hamne, they've spent their life. They've spent their life, they are not driven by money, they're not driven by position. You know hamne, they're doing this genuinely for Gambia. Notable examples, Lawyer Dawo, like you can hate him, you can decide to hate him, you can love him. But to try to equate him to people, opportunists like Nyomai, that's unfair because we didn't have diga. That's like come I'm all the wealth from this government. He could have simply stayed there. Lan kan mo si mundara sude mom diga dafa greedy wala dafa lugare ne kadi about him because man gis na Lawyer is the most infringed upon or offended politician in that country. Like people are so unfair to the person. I'm not saying that he is like perfect. He is not perfect. But people be nun ko de jele, nun ko de treat with regards to others, like therefore over, like it's very unfair. You understand? So when it comes to the coalition agreement, right? Okay, one of the speakers, one coffee. Like we have a constitution which says like the presidential mandate is 5 years. And a lawyer that is a constitutional lawyer. Mom, agreement boom don't happen. Mom, he was not there. You understand? I'm not like trying to defend him. But then, mom, his position, la wahne, the presidential mandate is 5 years. Not 3. Well, man, small problem. Why? You don't constitute you constitute those, agreements, right? Why didn't they factor that in? Why would they do it 3 years? Like, why didn't they put 5 years, just one term, 5 years, complete term, in the future, yena problems in no. You understand? So, lawyer boom gain mom position 5 years lower. You understand? But the constitution also gave Adam Barrow the right to step down if he wanted to. So man kuma he blame we Adam Barrow. So it's not like lawyer Dabo mom Barrow. Mom ko so don't mom nikon Baro daf ko follow luta 2021 or bala 2021 guy hajalo so don lawyer Darboe mo de dictate Baro te lu ko wax so de lo regular def kon ni kon time bi they're still in the same camp but Baro was in there for his own interest te xam nga ne lawyer Darboe if he were following his interest diga mom tam dafa ñew mu ne 3 years because after that third year elections waruna taxaw fofu non lawyer Darboe dafa win hands down lolu amul ben lifin sax so lolu mom la nekk di wax ne mom he did not do it for his selfish interest because whatever for his selfish interest mom daf don taxaw mom tam mu ne 3 years because after 3 years bobu nonu ñepp xam ne dañoo d'accord ne lolu non soo ko nangoo lolu yo sa affaire la but ñepp xam ne elections waruna taxaw after 3 years bobu nonu lawyer Darboe dafa win hands down but mom holu lolu non fofu mom mu ne man constitution bi la mo nekk di topa you understand because lolu 5 years la but that doesn't also man kuma dey blame la wax de moy Baro because mom su bëggoon step down dafa wane okay even su dee lawyer Darboe daf ko wax ne yow hangala la da nga dem by force te lawyer Darboe sax waxul loolu waxu ne Baro dafa dem 5 years mu ne constitutionally he's mandated to go 5 years if anyone wants to forcefully stop him then he would defend Baro in court like he would defend because you will be going against the constitution but Baro could have said okay Darboe I mean man agreement will not happen man I was a party to it so man I will just step down tell lolu constitution may na ko that right but mom bu step down so mu ngi buga dem bi ñaata 15 years so that should tell you ne lolu Baro intention was never to step down so man Baro la they blame for no so there is this other guy a critical thinker mom tam muy wax about that tactical alliance bobu no okay say who say really post na ko that question right another document bo xamne dafa wax ne I mean there is an agreement after the presidential going into the parliamentary bobu tam they would do alliances or they would go independent there is no document for that after the presidential kuneka you were on your own you understand why would yen angalila they were about the people's unfairness ngene Halifa mune independent, right? Why would you think the Halifa is right and those who say the tactical alliance you are wrong? Why? Lutangene you right, you wrong. Who are you to say you right and you wrong when there is no agreement? Halifa mom luwa, si mom don't mo favor mom. You understand? Tactical alliance summit. Man, 3 months alone more gonna make sense because you cannot just let people like be independent like that. All a lot more happened in 2016, 2017. But with nyata MP agenda, 10 of them, right? Remember. 10 people like
no, they need debate come your kena ngeen di waxtaan okay yow so waxee ne yow kena ngay wax yow kena yow yaa nekk di wax so waxtaan bi du am njëriñ okay
I'm just trying
keneen def lay respond yéen ñaari nit ngeen waxtaan.
But I didn't want to interject, but you came with you spoke for about 7 minutes and nobody stopped you. But domi rew mola wax ne war nga stop. You were just all over the place talking. So you see, this is us. We blame people for what we do.
No, I'm not saying no,
you're like
why you can so waxe dega wa dañu fanaan fii ba ëllëg.
No, ni ko dama doon daaneel sa walu ma nekk di wax rek
léegi naka gundo harma point
Gundo just try to wrap up in 30 seconds by us and
okay lu ma nekk di wax rek mooy man si man tactical alliance boobu sax moo gën a make sense because boobu noonu at least you have like the MPs on at least they have some I mean, they are answerable to the parties to some extent. But if you leave them as independents, they are on their own. They can all decide them join Baro. Kan mo si mundara. But yen lola guy don't advocate for to be independent. Baro muna mo use halis mo jeng guy. But at least guys who make it under a party, at least they are secured a little bit. You understand? So yin tactical alliance dem independent. Dabo is still the problem. How is it?
Man, I feel like most people finish and they understand from political plurality.
You're just so unfair to Dabo. People are so unfair to Dabo and UDP. So unfair.
No, I
Because
go
he
no
never
man.
hold position, Kenen hold position, ngeen blame Dabo ngeen by Kenen. Luta ngeen
Man leral na fi tactical alliance be. I came out and says ne man naka may mom si bopam clarify na how this tactical alliance come. Meaning it was not in their discussion prior to the 2026 presidential election. Whilst you were talking, I was also doing some diggings on the Gambian newspapers. I'm an article magazine which was published by Halifa on 2nd October. Lola gonna interject ma is for clarification.
Okay.
And so I say this would also help. They've signed an agreement when they were going into a coalition. Okay, and that agreement was signed on the 17th of October 2016. So, agreement be more one day. Then, the leader of the coalition would agree to resign from their party and become independent. So that was an agreement, and which Barrow did. One. The second clause of the agreement, Moine, the leader of the coalition would serve for 3 years, must step down without contesting, then parties in your contest. So the agreement did not say anything about going into parliamentary election. So why tactical? We were not talking about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So don't blame
I hope
Dabo.
Great Tinker would come and
That's
apologize.
where we are going. Don't blame Dabo. There is no agreement.
I hope Great Tinker would be honest enough to come and apologize.
Okay, this is a two-part agreement. Two-part agreement. The first agreement be Moine, Barrow would have to resign from the UDP and become an independent candidate for the lead coalition, which he has agreed. So it means in principle, he has agreed to the coalition agreement of 17th October 2016. So the second part be Moine, Musa for 3 years. And Sibir publication be Halifa when they were doing this, they are aware of Lala Constitution be Section 63 of the Constitution, which provide, and 65, which provide that the president can stay for 5 years. But based on the agreement, Bugay and Batah Barrow resign from the UDP, Nyoneka an independent candidate. So they believe that they would have upheld that agreement. Legi, what happened, Moy, before this was published on the 2nd of October 2019, time Buwahi coalition 3 years being in they written journalists, then them you the Halifa, Pumu is a clarification. Subject be one clarification of utterance on purported amendment of coalition 2016 agreement. So what PDOIS position there was Moine, they haven't seen any document when it has amended the 17 October 2016 coalition agreement, which still stands. So they are not going to fight over it, neither will they argue over it, because they've agreed in principle. Barrow, he has agreed, colleagues that he has resigned from the UDP, became an independent candidate. So they believe he would have maintained that agreement as a decent person. So Dafadesi Barrow, if he wants to fulfill it, or if he doesn't want to fulfill it, Barrow he just breaks word. So they have no bone of content with it because they are not going to argue with the Constitution. Why what most Gambians are saying, Fini Moy, and I am not in a position because but we've all heard more defend this thing. Barrow would have to continue to serve the 5 years because of the 5 years constitutional.
No. That's no.
Okay,
But that's
let
what he
me
said.
just come in here. Os,
Wow.
Balamade, I want to come in here. Okay, man, personally, I'll be very honest. Personally, I believe Dabo Hon in that 3 years that's his personal position. Come Gundo Lumwa, Dabo is a constitutional lawyer. I mean, even if he's not a constitutional lawyer, I feel like that is a personal position of his because even members in UDP, they were not in line with Dabo Wahon because some other UDP members went out through the 3 years job na bobu. Why now? Luma neka di buy healthy Monica. Some of us here also nyinge buga fatene. Barrow Nidla, come Dabo. Barrow is a man like Dabo. So let us hold to his agreement. Dabo was in mile 2. Barrow don't sign agree pour gain a UDP.
Yo,
agree to coalition. Legi Dabo su waxe lolu be pare sa. Lutax Barrow as a person ko xamantene war na mo am values war waxut ne mom dafa resign. Lutax deful lolu nonu. So da nga gis ne
da nga miss waxtaan bobu Mohamed. We've talked about that. Why was the public attack?
Wow, naka okay.
Yeah, gundo.
Legi harama leralal ko fofu.
Please.
So we have talked about what public accountability means and what it does. Because they have sell an agenda to the Gambian people. Okay, dafa mel ni tey yaa ngi dem on a trial nga am trial by jury. So the defense counsel their objective when you plant doubts in the minds of the jury. And when a jury so not guilty, then it means that will result to mistrial. And this is actually what had happened because as a coalition, if supporters so that becomes a unified mass against Barrow. So Barrow would have to face the public accountability. Public accountability, the parliamentary members can be used and pressurized through their parliament, like through their parties, pour ñu impeach Barrow, wala ñu force Barrow to respect that constitution, that agreement. So the coalition members, I'm not going to okay, coalition, like I do not agree with this. So it's obviously supporters yep, they will say, okay, yeah, fuck it. We are not going to agree with it. We are just going to continue with the 5 years mandate. So we talked about all these things when we were formulating strategies of how to come together to make sure that we avoid the mistakes of 2016. So what Useno did there gives Barrow the leverage for more continue. Imagine a lady. If Usenu and the UDP came out and says, like all the other parties, now, hey, Barrow, you're 3 years na sign. How on the constitution be 5 years now? Why the gentleman agreement, Moina, you will resign from UDP, Nganeka independent, run after 3 years now, watch the election. It could have been good for UDP because UDP could have won at that particular time.
They would have won, actually.
Well, exactly. So, but because of Dabo came out and says, Barrow cannot be forced to resign, and he is going to protect Barrow based on the constitution, Benyutiba Ega Court, then it means he has planted that thing in the minds of the Gambians, public accountability way, so what happened was a few people, they went to Bond Road, New Sanil and tear gas, New Dawa for Sendale. This was actually what happened.
So yeah, so Lumanagari wa mai. I mean, okay.
So yeah, because I'm digala lima fiwa I know ne minewa diglu kat bi mo la diga te manding ko kuma munisi dengan dunia bula kata balea. The reason why I don't want to name names was not because I am scared or any other thing. I just did that out of respect because I don't want people to feel attacked. Why? That's the way wax nonu la buma waxe yow gis nga ci sa bop. Why comme os lum fi wax 2016 agreement bu am, right? Man lima gum, I'm not saying de lolu moy diga, lima gum te lima gis ci suma gis anybody ku bokon ci nguri Adama Barrow bi, that coalition from 2016-2017. Lutan nemu malen, like I said, is out of respect. Why gomon nanes and os daf mako fi dina daf ma def fi explanation bo xamne moy yomba ci man. Su ñep d'accordoon ñu am a unified voice against Adama Barrow. Ñu hold Adama Barrow to account. Ñu kon tay duñ fekk duñ nekk fuñ nekk ni. Why liko waralon, like I don't want to name because of respect. Why come ku jeno mu ne 3 years bi ku ko fi wax dang ma fekk court ñu ci des lutax ma bolé len ñoom tamit like my fati Halifa Sallah, name them all that coalition partners ñoom ñu fa des ñoom suñ nekkoon a unified voice ñu taw ñu ne hey lolu du fi am li lañ fi d'accordoon nañ doon am power behind them to put Adama Barrow to account. But Luther unified voice bobu amut because mom may mu ngi ci biir government. So gom na ne okay 5 years be good na. Ahmad Ba the same thing. Common the name the same thing. So man ku wax 3 years duñ ko fi def ak ñu noppi won bañ ko against, they are all the same at that juncture. The same as Adama Barrow ku bañoon na dako hono mom ci bopam kaadom bum sign ne 3 years lay def. So see that juncture, lolu tam man may wax ne man ñooñu gum naa ne dañ ñu yaaxal because seen political interest London said. Lu tax turu ma seen tur yi waaye ñi xam nañ ko man ñu may wax. So buggee nag dinaa leen tudda waaye dama bëggutoon a àgga foofu so loolu mooy woon tontu boobu waaye ñi ma wax ñu ñëpp.
Okay, mën nga ñoo may ñun tam ñu tontu la. Bro, I did ask for the floor. I did ask for the floor to respond to this gentleman throwing shades. I said here that he came fii ku fi wax rek fii kenn dofu fii jarut nga wax tur wax soo ko waxee rek ñëpp xam na si ñangay jublu wax bi. You came here yaa ngi wax boo xam ne wax bi yàgg nañ ko dégga ñu bokkoon si coalition bi yow teg ne ñoom ñoo yaaxa Gambia so we should ñu taana ñoo xam ne they are honest and ñëpp xam ne you are talking about the likes of Mr. Dabo. You don't even have to mention his name. We all immediately you started talking, man. I knew where you're going. Okay. Hamga, this is the part that is sometimes is so frustrating in this discourse, and they polarize Wahbi. If you have a candidate that you are yearning for, just support your candidate. Just support your candidate, but don't try to disparage other candidates. Ne nyom bugun Gambia nyom because then because the coalition. At least nyonyu. They were there when Gambia was bleeding. These are the people who fought and went to prison for Gambia. When most of us talking here did not have the confidence to do it. You can blame Dabo today. Can you let me learn, please? Right? Can you let me learn? You spoke. You spoke. Right. You came here, you are throwing shades at UDP, just my party in Turam rek. Okay, but let's focus. Halifa Sallah was part of the coalition. And Halifa doesn't get blamed for this because Halifa did not take a ministerial job with Sidia Jata. They did not. And I heard from the grapevines, Degomali, Halifa reportedly said, and people can correct me, they can say, why? Halifa said he doesn't want to be sacked. If at all that is true, that means you want to only become president because only the president will not be sacked. Only the president can be impeached, but any other position in government sacked. But if Halifa was said that, then that is also was that genuine to the cause of the coalition? But he doesn't get criticized for that. All right? And I think Gundo said, the person who is mostly unfairly treated in this, and they a lot of coalition talks because they polarize, because most of you are saying the new players know what a GD coalition be. So what be so diagnose it, that's what you're saying. You have for one, the new politician. But where were those politicians too? And man say who said it as a person, I'm going to say it here. I will raise these fundamental questions to anybody. If you point fingers at these people, because of their utterances. And again, so Mr. Dabo Kena why did the others stand against Mr. Dabo? There were 7 political parties and 1 independent. Mr. Dabo waham rek warota tahaw. If the 6 people had come together and confronted him and said, no, Yoya Wahli, when you agreed, Mr. Dabo's words would not have stood. Ben and Nit Kadwa Mimunota Tahoe, Sidakabi.
Mane party Eslawai, of a wani, for party market.
No.
Let's go on. Let's bring it on.
Yensen MP. UDP MP.
No, I'm not responding to you. I'm talking.
Okay, I know. Wow, okay, I'm gonna speak parallelly. So legally,
no, I don't think about Coleman, Momu, so I have
no, my mom Liwani, Nekul Astronaut, my point, lad. If I'm looking for Alumni, it's
why my need to when you are what
is fallacious.
Harold,
you don't stop Mr. Dabo because you have Dabo Bokon Boost.
No, I know why did not come to grow.
Young PDOIS again bitter because you cannot break the numbers. Deep in 1987, you cannot break the numbers. You are bitter people.
We save you from prison. We save you from prison.
Yeah, okay. Save Savali, right? Save Lihauma. okay UDP online okay yen seen UDP MP Baro lu mu wax da ngeen dee d'accord yéen ak MPP yéen ak NPP okay so léegi yéen lu tax Baro lu mu wax si seen parlement bi seen parlement Gambia yéen UDP MP da ngeen dee d'accord ak Baro ngeen vote yes li war na am okay lu tax loolu because yéen xam ngeen ne dëkk bi nekku di dem in the right way okay but yéen Baro lu mu wax da nga ko dee vote yes ngeen d'accord si why because da ngeen xiif xam nga da ngeen xiif bugg leen sona
Please, can you reframe your question?
Why, bro?
Yeah, because
we agree.
Ngeen am xaalis bugg leen def dara yéen a ngi sonna right léegi yéen Baro lu gis yëpp UDP seen MP half 95% dañ def vote yes ak NPP ñoo def vote yes.
That's a lie. Right? That's not true. What about the Constitution 2020? Didn't we vote yes for the Constitution and Barrow's guys voted no?
Why?
Man, I'm not debating with you. You don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not debating with somebody coming to find
they vote yes.
You just lied publicly.
I'm not lying.
You
yes,
yes,
because they give. They don't have nothing. They don't have nothing.
You guys are angry. You have agenda. You should have been there and stayed and enjoyed the country.
You people are more bitter because they serve you.
You know what I'm saying very well.
You angry bunch. Hate. You guys have 8 people.
Baro is the best graduate you offered us.
You are bigots.
Just ignore
If you want to bring bigotry and hate here, we will buy it.
You guys are full of hate. You guys are full of vengeance and hate.
You're bigotry.
You guys are haters. You destroyed the coalition. You brought Gambia to this trouble today. And you are busy now trying to defend yourselves here. You guys
went to prison. You
guys destroy Gambia. You destroy the country.
Mr. Dabo destroy Gambia.
Yes, you people destroy Gambia. They fought for themselves. You fight for yourself. You only fought for UDP and
Dr. Dropland, great thinker.
You guys are so selfish, man. Mr. Dabo challenge Yaya Jammeh in Gambia when most of you were nowhere to be seen.
Please.
No, me, I don't have patience for bigots. Just hate.
Sorry, ma address because I think great thinker mom do they muna and the conversation bo xamantene daf ñoo jox way forward. Ya nga understand? So please Sehu, I am appealing to you. Don't go to his level, please. You are bigger than that. So bul nangu mulay drag si lo xamantene dafa nek hecho wanted di sani wanted kadu. Don't go there, please. Please.
No, definitely.
Great thinker is not adding anything to this conversation, please.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah.
Don't go.
So anyan may Amado Akiri ñom ñu contribute. Say ko cool down rek nga ñëwaat ñu continuer.
Da nga muy dal ñep nga bay man Amado rek ga wax legi. Muy dal ga yeb.
Waaw.
Yeah. My deglu waxtaan bi si suuf and naa kàddu yu bari jot nañ see jaar ba foog naa the conversation bi fu mu doon xeet mooy naka la ñoo mun a jiitalee njiit bi nga xam ne dafa jub and bu ñoo wax njiit bi nga xam ne dafa jub dafa am ay mandarga yu mu war a am na yenn caractéristiques yi nga xam ne kooku war na koo possess si ay jëfin ak liggéeyam ak niñ ko xamee so léegi ñun bu ñoo wax ne dañ war a ñëw together pour war a mun fee génne Barrow te duñ look back into the past and recognize njuumte yu fi amoon wala maybe deliberate actions la waaye am na ay xew-xew yu fi amoon so it's important ñu delluwaat xoolaat lana xewoon te make sure ne loolu du amaat and bu dee ne nit ki dafa ñëw laajte naka la ñoo mun a fixé loolu noonu nag how do we ensure ne li xewoon dafay xewaat loolu fooguma ne war nañ ko mun a tàmm as ne comme kii mu ngi criticize benn political party mu ngi ask a fundamental question parce que li xewoon tey jii loolu lañ nekk di dunda is a result of those actions yi xewoon moo tax ñuy dunda la ñoo dunda tey jii te war nañoo mun a accept loolu noonu xool naka la ñoo mun a amee a way forward so bu dee ne dañoo am a way forward man bëgg naa laajte comme UDP members yi fi nekk right now yéen si seen gis-gis ban proposal ngeen am to make sure ne bu dee ne comme tey jii coalition war naa am ñu agree on something ne lii ak lii ak lii lañ war a def how do we uphold that despite ne constitution bi mu ngi fa ñëpp understand ne lu nekk si constitution bi te ku nekk ki nga xam ne moo jiitu dina mun a sukkandeku si loolu noonu yéen lan ngeen di propose si seen gis-gis ne lii ak lii ak lii lañ war a def to prevent lu happenon in 2016 to be specific mooy division bi xewoon bi coalition bi toogee including mbiri tactical alliance bi including réero bu xew si coalition leaders yi ñoomi neen ku nekk di def different roles yi nga xam ne nekkutoon sa role comme ñoom may faati ñu ñëwee took over the role of PRO wala di wax on behalf of the coalition in essence léegi yéen waa UDP naka ngeen ni lan ban proposal ngeen am pour wane ne comme li xewoon in 2016 lii ak lii la ñoo def si seen gis-gis loolu laa bëgg a laaj.
Ousmane dama leen mere na dañu ma waroon a bàyyi ma tontu Seydou because daf ma laajte woon question boo xam ne amoon na solo trop waaye dinaa ko bëgg a tontu fii maybe mu ngi déglu and I apologize for li xewoon xiira ma mere xam naa ne yow tamit li nga ñu waaye gis nga Mr. Lee if you are listening leena la bëgg a clarify dang ma tuumal si loo xam ne waxuma ko yaa ngundo dëgg la bi nga doon daaneel sa wax fi ma daanelee woon foofu nga ñëwee yow tamit sa boppa mooy bu ko Ousseynou waxoon 6 yu fa desoon lan lañ wax ñoom an man suma wax bi maybe yéen a ko jël personally waaye man dama ko generalize ba tax na ngundo bu mu fi ñëwee mu laajte lu tax ma generalize ko waxuma ay tur lu tax ma generalize ko loolu mooy pour yombal ko mooy ñoom ñëpp amoon nañ seen responsibility bu ñu waroon a taxaw su fekkee ne sax kenn moo wax leneen te loolu àndut ak luñ d'accord ñoom ñu si des lan lañ def looloo tax ma generalize ko ne ñoom they all fail in their responsibilities pour save Gambia time buñ amoon jot pour save ko te loolu nga mujjee wax yow sa boppa so which mean d'accord nga ne ñoom ñëpp amoon nañ responsibility buñ waroon a jël te jëluñ ko you know so I wasn't throwing shades man kuma xam na ne man I talk about lan laa gis lan laa fekkee li ma leen a wax nii dama ko fekkee because am na ñu fi wax ñu ne buñ doon d'accord Ousseynou nekku fa woon bu Ousseynou doon wax dafa wax si own individual calibam as an individual ne 3 years bi waaye lan la parti bi tamit def bu Ousseynou waxee loolu did they come to agree or disagree with Ousseynou bu may doon nekk foofu lan la may def bu fa waaw bu fa ñoom Amat Ba nekkee lan lañ wax lan lañ def
ñooñu disagree with one day
ñoom ñëpp they are all the same si man so loolu laa doon wax I wasn't trying to generalize it to UDP te dëgga man leena gum naa ko gis naa Gambia we need to be honest to each other nit ku ne lu la yàlla may loolu yàlla moo la ko may sooy gis problème si moom sax soo nekkee nit ku déggu danga déggu nangu lu ko yàlla may UDP kenn du mun a génnee turi UDP in the Gambian political arena it's not possible li ngeen def muy lu baax muy lu bon mu ngi fi ñun ñëpp judoowuñ démba barki démba fii la ñu fekk ñu ngee añ gis nañ Gambia démba gis ko tey bugg a seet nan lañ mën a def pour ñu mën a am ëllëg numbers su jógee si government UDP kenn uppalewu leen ko waaye man I don't even mean ne dañoo tànnal ñu bees yi non waxuma ñu màgget yi déedéet am na ñu fi xam ñu fi nekk ñoo xam ne sax soo demee si parti bu ne am na ñu fa nekk ñooñu taxawuñ pour présidence bi waaye ñooñu mun nañ ko du jeex Gambia li ma doon junj rek mooy ñu try ñu ut nit koo xam ne du ñu isil problème bu ñu amoon 2016 and I don't mean anybody to be specific but that one also I'm generalizing it ne Gambia ñaakut loolu it doesn't have to be Halifa it doesn't have to be Ousseynou it doesn't have to be Mai it doesn't have to be Barrow alone. Many people on this platform even can do better than them. Who knows? But let's put the interest of the Gambia first. So in political agenda, lolu duñ leen mëna bayyi. Waye nañ sét lan lañ mëna def buy génné Gambia. Lolu la doon waxé. I was in
okay, légui mën na la tontu. If you permit me, mën na la tontu. Mën na la tontu. Okay, first of all, I want to apologize. This is not me. But no. Let me just speak. I'm a human being. And I think sometimes pusante si maraj la em. Look, we have enjoyed this since last year. This is not new. Debate it's been going on since last year. We come under daily scrutiny. And that's fine. Because UDP, like you said, we are a big player in Gambian politics. And we've been there. And I listened to Amadou saying when somebody comes and talk about these things, nobody should take it personal. They are talking about your party. You know, sometimes the gentleman himself, when Gundo spoke, he said yes, but the reason I don't want to mention name, but in fact, he referenced to Osbob when Osbob talked about Mr. Dabo, and he said, you know, Osbob Sakuna. So that validated my point. His words were directed at UDP, but he didn't just want to say it. That's Amadou. So to come out here and say, listen, let me land.
I said mine. I said
no. You mentioned mine. I said listen, my brother. When you were talking, I
said all coalition leaders, bro.
But can you let me speak? Can you let me speak? You referenced mine, but when Osbob said, did you say there's a reason? Luta buguma to the yeneni, buguma to the tour. But Os has just said something, which has confirmed my point, and that was not about mine. Also, was not talking about you too,
when you said the other 6 coalition members.
Okay, no, let me land. Me, I have no problem in anybody.
I quoted that too. I said that before you said that.
Okay, but you want to go back and forth. You see, this is what brings issue. When you are talking, I listen. Let me land, my brother. Okay? You see, even at some point, words that were being thrown at UDP here, even I think was us, now have been referred. This is what really frustrated me. They are greedy, palaslen buga. That's not good on these people. Let's face it. Gambia, affaire Gambia commencé in 2023. Gambia from independence law. It's just like Sir Fariman Singat and others. If somebody who is going to come here to say the tuti lo nyonyo lundefal Gambia, it's not going to be fair. The likes of Halifa Saleh.
Please, I want to rectify you here. Those weren't his word. It was the word of Kola. Kola was the one who was saying that.
That's right.
Not him, please.
Okay, apologies. If that's not your words, that's Kola. That's true.
I will never say that.
Kola mo mungi nekon fi di uncivilized yo xamantene.
Yeah, Kola. So then gentlemen, I really apologize if that was not you, but somebody really said it. Okay, so what I was really probably I chose your name wrongly, but I was directly referencing to him who was making those vile comments against UDP. I was having a debate here with Great Tinker. We all know Great Tinker is very critical of UDP, but we didn't lose our head here. We were having a detailed discussion. Bambas, myself,
let me just pop in and say.
But Kola came here to make. You see, you can disagree with UDP, you can dislike UDP, and it's not a must that Mr. Dabo must be president. Me, really, I'm not saying that Mr. Dabo has to be president. He doesn't. But whether he becomes president or not, Mr. Dabo is a decent man. He's a man of integrity. This man has worked in government at the Justice Ministry. People said he was sacked. Let's forget under the PPP government, he resigned from Justice Ministry. Was he sacked? He resigned. And Mr. Dabo has a reason why he didn't resign from Barrow government. I have said it here. Mr. Dabo was going to resign from Barrow government. There was a day he took a decision to resign. Not many people didn't know this. UDP is a party that we listen to Mr. Dabo has a council of elders, that people who will talk to him. We know in our culture there were elders who traveled from rural areas, strong members of UDP. Maybe I should not even say this here. They went to Mr. Dabo and say, "Oh, we heard you want to resign. Please don't resign. Let Dabo sack you." And Mr. Dabo listened to these people. So you see, Mr. Dabo resigned from Justice Ministry on principle because he saw things that were happening there. He wanted to form his private chambers. This guy serving government up to today, Barrow cannot bring out any evidence of corruption against him because he would have taken him. The people talk about his tax areas, but how many, the list that came out, all the lawyers have tax areas. In UK here, people have tax areas. That's not a criminal offense. There are people in this country who have tax areas. All over the world, people have tax areas. Mr. Dabo is not culpable of any corruption in that country. Yes, you can say you can disagree with his stance on issues, that's fine. But to say he's corrupt, no. This man is a decent man. And the reason why I am behind him, because from 81, he was there confronting Jammeh. Not many people have the guts to confront Jammeh. So today people are putting that man as, oh, he destroyed our country. Manse Hussein, I will not keep quiet. People throwing words at Mr. Dabo. I keep quiet. This is a man who almost died. Him and his daughter, they were taken to Mile 2. Filthy cells of Mile 2. How Mile 2 is. How many of us had the audacity to come? In fact, when Solo Sunday was coming out, there was an agreement. Okay, Modungom narrated it on the day the Solo Sunday might pass. Modungom, one of the victims. Ahmad Ba, they were meeting in Ahmad Ba's party, bureau. And he was behind it for them to come out. Other political parties were gone, but on the day they all backed out. Only Solo Sunday and the UDP members come out. But when they were discussing the idea of going out, it was not only our members. NRP was there. Ahmad Bah turned up. Today, people are not blaming these people. So you think it's easy for us to be on platforms? You are blaming us when our guys suffered? When it was tough, UDP, the biggest victims of the TRRC are UDP members. Where were the rest of the people?
So maybe you can just.
Yes.
No, this is sometimes so annoying.
Yeah, I understand.
That's all right.
You come here, you want to denigrate those people. Now we have the floodgates have opened. Everybody can come and talk.
Yeah,
even in diaspora here, that time,
we were having a very progressive.
When we offer protest in diaspora, how many people turn up? How many people turn up even in protest?
Great thinker, mom. Mom, he's on another level. Great thinker.
People think people are forgotten.
I think he's not being civil. If I can just come in and say a few things.
Can I just say this and we move on, please? Can I just?
I just take the opportunity to say this. I feel like, okay, so negative discussions here, that's important sometimes. Because, okay, for now, right now, at this point, like a lot of you would basically know can Monica do. Man, my to the Mohammed Salek, solo Salek, most papa. My conversation, okay. Like from the beginning, man on Jim explained, okay, man, I might be affiliated to UDP or sympathize with UDP. Right? And a lot of people might feel that way. But then I make sure when I come in discussion, actually I don't do it because of people like Sawaji, great thinker mom, he's becoming a juggernaut right now. Well, I can explain more. Okay, so negative discussions, that's important thing. We just ought to be civil, about certain things. You come and start to make things. Do they have discussion? And I feel like we are very good, they have good intentions, right, to get Gambia out of Lumnega. And then you want to understand something. This is politics, and politics does not go without some of these mistakes. Politics, is not for the faint-hearted. It's because of the same issues this discussion and you back and forth against each other. It's because this is what happens. Mostly, you go and see each other's ugliest parts. And then you understand it. Okay, it's human. It's a society basically. And then you will have a character. You understand? But that is why politics is not for the faint-hearted, because this discussion you disante at in very bad lights, but we still have the civility pour discussions. Man, my intention. Why people like great thinker, they are on another level. Just doing personal attacks at you. I could sit here and do personal attacks on, anybody else, but it makes no sense. But what I just want to say is, man, I feel like discussion, I'm going back on the same core of the discussion. There are many things you have to miss, which is for the fact that you understand this is a political arena, right? kuneka sa home training or whatever your sentiments, personal sentiments, they really sometimes do not matter so much. What matters is the facts and also how we go about it. For example, tay suñ bëggé nekk di wax ne coalition bi ak nduko yaha ñu ñëw back to it. There's a lot of each leader from Barrow to Halifa to Usainu to every one of them kuneka amna a fair share of the issue, right? But lolo no suñ ko bëggé rigogité dafa cause more like okay say who mu ngi ni fi ni ngi wax UDP at some point he has we feel obliged to come and defend Mr. Dabo. Somebody else will feel obliged to come and defend party leader. But that is not the point of the discourse. For example, Amadou Lekte. Amadou Mune, what is the alternative? I think these are the questions you want to like and also not be because right now you feel you opposition. So if you opposition be you get the hulo the what you boni great thing I'm not interested in like I mean it's not a good political discourse. Why what I feel like is so you get definitely the family come like Barrow is sitting very comfortable like guy me di xamne 2026 dinañ def ñi lo xamantene parce que ñomi neen jubo wuñ amna nit yo xamantene ñi nekk fi di hulo di living but I feel like this is also a reflection of what really obtains in another level. Because feeling you am discuss most of us ñu fi nekk kenn nekkul executive in any political party. Yeah, why you am this discussion and we cannot even be civil about it. I think
Points of correction.
okay, maybe some people are executive. Man how because man mom xam nga rek man mom nekkuma si yoy. So lo mota. Why I feel like this also reflects the greater Gambian attitude in terms of our approach to politics. We think we have to be personal and sentimental about these things, which is not the right. I'm not ñoo mom duñ mëna add dara to the discussion, which I think is very, very difficult to go about, these things. Where I feel like it's important we don't take sentiments and also personalities at some point, you put go away. I understand see whose point dina for different political nakala party leader because if you're saying these hurtful things, for example, man, I am very close to Mr. Dabo, right? And I come debate anytime, right? Damade dem kiram and everything. So if somebody comes and says very bad things about Mr. Dawa, I might feel obliged to defend. Likewise, Khalifa or anybody. Why I guess that is not the crux of the discussion. You nekadi amfini right now. I think Lula very important. You see, but man, I don't even want to right now contribute so much to the discussion because I feel like Kunega feel that I'm stands out and has their own way of wanting to discredit Kiwaki. Why from Halifa to Usainu to everybody else, I feel like even though sometimes I'm close like everything, I feel Kunega dafa intention for this country because politics Gambia for me, especially at the time of Bala 2016, because most people here is because because most young people would not have been involved in politics or this kind of political discourse because I'm not regal this it's not in my guilty while I can in my guilty. So young people were not even involved in politics. Imagine man was about 58 years old, the youth living chairperson. That is because of what obtained. So where were the others? I think sometimes do helps in discussion. Then you form coalition. So I think that in discussion they were a whole debate. Because you example, I representative political party there would be no coalition in 2026. So I think we need to reflect about those things also.
Mohammed, that was the crux of the discussion because Falendore, we were trying to diagnose the voting pattern from Banjo. Falendore, Aglana Negre happened to understand voting realities in Gambia. So from now, one thing led to another thing, then discussion will take
definitely. But I also just want to add this thing. I think we need to do more civic education because if we are if somebody is so interested in tech data, do you see a platform like this and discuss, and that's the type of contribution they have to do. Well, it just says a lot to how we want to do our this political discourse. It's gonna be crazy anyway.
Exactly. So Hiri Nakala, ñu may Hiri mu ñëw ak Mamadou Diallo, then ñu rotate out.
Okay, bro. Jërëjëf waaye ma ne na ngeen def yéen a ngi baax yéen a ngi cool waxtaan baa ngi ne waaye baa leen xuloo bi daal ñu future ñeneen ñi ay future leen already. So suñ bëggee yóbbu suñ dëkk bi si kanam daal dañoo bàyyi xuloo bi daal loolu is not pretty much ba pare ñu bàyyi di toog di wax lu bon towards our elders xam nga dañu war a am respect towards the people ñoo xam ne ñooy suñ jiit yi xam nga nit su nekk sa njiit yow sa boppa mën nga faa nekk. So anyway, back to the topic. Coalition 2016, possible coalition 2026. Man, am I still all right? Okay, I'm in the big screen. I can't see myself. Anyway, man, luma fuck. When we go back in 2016, ñu bugg a wax ñu bari suñ buggee wax si coalition 2016. When we talk about the gains, the positive things, everybody takes the credit. When we talk about the negative things, we start pointing fingers. But that's just the nature of the human being. Doomi aadama bi noonu la mel. Boppam néegam si boppam sax so amee fu génneel ko fa dafa ñëw mu ne kele moo ko fa def waaye su fekkee fu bi si boppam xam nga mu am lem dafa ne amal maa ko fa def. It's true ne doo mun na wax ne nit ki nekk njiit ba pare du make mistake. Why 2016 is behind us. Obviously, we should learn from our mistakes. So it's important to New Delhi now said mistake in depth to avoid making those mistakes again. And in that process, it has to be very civil. Some people, we have to be tolerant. We can definitely accept those mistakes. I think as Gambians, if we want to come together with all the challenges that we face, especially as Africans and Black people, then you want to use a certain level of consciousness and maturity to be able to respect each other, at all levels, and be able to have a civil discussion towards our own welfare, because this is about our own welfare. Gambia is ours. Anybody who is struggling, anybody who is quote unquote founding fathers, is building a nation for us. So I feel like, man, so what I said when you're into politics, the first impression what I am, this guy is coming to build a future for everyone. Okay? Even though sometimes people come in and they are not following the right policies. But we know there's a lot of things in play today, Tassa, in our country, that our leaders sometimes they don't act in a way that is beneficial to our own interests. They don't protect the interests of the citizen. And we know that can be pretty philosophical. Sometimes I am very much so philosophical about that, which can lead to the changing of the mind itself. So for the Gambia to change, the Gambian has to be changed. For the Gambia to grow, it has to be developed in the Gambian way. So the problem is the Gambian, right? So if we continue to point a finger at one person, think about what can you do to change yourself? Because I only have power to change myself. I don't have power to change another person. That's beyond my control. I can control myself. If I can control myself, then I will be able to control the environment and the situation that I find myself. So 2016, mistakes happen, right? I put a comment there was a joke, but obviously important to consider that 2016 was a scam, just because, our aspirations were not met. So because of that fact, I feel like, what is the way forward? Now, if we want to come up to make a coalition again 2026, do we need a coalition 2026? What kind of coalition should we have in 2026? These are the fundamental questions. And why should we have a coalition 2026? These are questions. In 2016, it was mostly about an individual. I think most of us, because I saw some things and I was talking to Manawa Ashmaga, explaining affair leadership. Why didn't you know what, right? Let's just get this guy out. Anybody comes is fine. Right? So we were voting against an individual. Well, I guess now, we will not get it right all the time. We're not going to have the right leader all the time. Human beings are full of faults. The person that you think is the prophet will come in and make fundamental mistakes because they're human, right? So, but what we have to have is a system where we change leadership constantly. Even countries that are very much successful, they have done some very important things. They focus on the citizen by building the capacity of the citizen, by giving the citizen his right and liberating his mind, giving him true liberation so he can determine his own destiny, by making sure he has education and healthcare and agriculture. Grow what you eat what you grow. Does it just mean go to the farm? It means that we cannot focus our economy on cash crops. We have to focus on economy on things that we actually eat. That's what we should grow. These are philosophical fundamentals that some philosophers think that leaders should be philosophers and philosophers should be leaders, the concept of a philosopher king. So we're not going to get it right all the time. And even 2026, we can still do a coalition, get somebody in there, and they might not be the right person. No matter who it is, they're going to make mistakes. There are fundamental problems. I think what we should focus on with regards to ban façon nguur la ñoo am mooy we have to keep changing government. Man lola government leadership, constant change of leadership. We'll have one leader mu ñëw serve one purpose, then let him leave. Suñ problem Gambia so gisee demuñ ci kanam for 60 years. How many leaders we've had? 30 years, one person. You know, they encourage a lot of nepotism. Well, Bidavanega on one side, one thinking, one mindset. The human being is created in such a way, Sunyewe into a leadership. You know, he is bound to change. After some time, he gets worn out. That's just the nature of the person. You're going to expect somebody to be a leader for 30 years and continue to bring in fresh ideas. It's not possible. That's the reality. So we're living in an age, in a time, Bohamne, we need fresh ideas. Somebody come in fresh. You do 2 times, get out. Another person comes, do 2 times. How can we have that system? So, Senor of a coalition, those are the things we gotta have a system where we're constantly changing our leaders. The conversation right now that should happen amongst ourselves as the young and the aspiring leaders of our nation is what type of coalition should we form? Why should we form a coalition? For what reason? But we're sitting down here trying to, speak about one individual. Your prophet is my prophet is your prophet. This concept of indoctrination is not going to take us anywhere. But anyway, I think that the conversation should be based on should, what, and when, the kind of coalition we're going to have. That's going to be my contribution to the conversations we're having. Otherwise, bright young Gambians, intelligent, smart people, we have the brains. All we need to do is to listen to each other.
Terry, that's what we were doing in the beginning. Maybe you came late. All what you said here, we were on that in the beginning. Until things change, when they started to deny the realities, what happened in the country, and people were living witness to the events and the incidents.
Mostly you're a fabricate. Mostly they're fabricate. That's the problem.
I'm not talking to you.
That's the problem.
But that's your business because anyway, I'm going. I'm gonna leave you guys with the platform. You're gonna be happy because UDP in. That's how you are. Man, I know you, so I don't care. I'm coming to talk to the domicile Sandembi because Hamudma, man Papa Amla. So those is my brother. Let me Karma.
Don't allow him to go.
No, I want him to hear me, to know who is talking. To know who is talking because more was my affair. Moderator, na dem mulate ya fat sar biñ tudé fat sandeng bi magam gaba sar bi don and ak solo sandeng muy brodam sun kër lañ dé end suma ben gon solo is my brother fani rek ma ngi waxtaan ak family members mom xalé la ki ngentem bi ma fa won xamut ma motax mu ñëne great thing is this great thing is that why dama ko bëgg leral ni ko man
moderator, you are allowing this please and it is personal.
No, of course I'm just setting light. It's not personal. When he was talking about me, I don't want him to insult me and wrongfully insult somebody whom he doesn't know. That's why I have to make this clear to him. So engage I will talk to him. Why the Mako send message if you feel it on my head? Because Magam Fat Sunday. I'm not talking to you.
Can you please put
I don't understand what is your problem, Bambas. Why are you trying to solve my statement?
We are here to talk about our country.
So when the boy was talking about me, why didn't you tell him that stop talking about great things? We are talking about the country. Why didn't you?
He wasn't talking about
in the comments. Come on, give me a break. You are just a UDP and
so Amadou, please.
Léegi sax nga sa message across.
Fasaro rek ngeen xale boobu noonu kooku suma doom la.
Can we continue the discussion on
léegi bàyyi ñu continuer.
Dama bëgg mu xam loolu noonu. Fatsar bi
somebody is angry.
Na dem laajte family bi di Bakunda.
You are angry bunch.
Kanam la judo.
Are you happy in life?
Okay,
Are you happy in life? You don't seem happy, man.
Get out of here, Sehu. I'm more happier than you. You're young, stressed. Debate pandering time. I'm believing.
Man, I'm happy.
No, you're not happy.
But
You're young, you old. You're
you know my age?
Sehu, man,
Good night.
But me, I'm disappointed. I am disappointed.
We are not responsible
you people are so impulsive. You people are so impulsive and intolerant.
But
when
you are
somebody hits the
impulsive
nail on the
to
head,
Mohammed
you
Sandeng.
get upset, start
Just
bouncing on the person like wild dog. These people will not go for coalition. There's no nepotistic people. Get out of here. Nonsense.
You gotta have a coalition with them.
Please.
Okay, how about you? Osbob, you know what the irony is?
So,
he has been. Look, maybe he will hear what I said. You see,
can I address, please?
No, number two. What I want to say is, Bokalafi criticism, all of us. You see, it's easy to give out because you criticize UDP, but now Solo Sandeng came and make one remark about you, Mohammed Sandeng. You see the repulsive nature. It's us. Nobody wants to be criticized. That's the point I want to say. Because Solo Sandeng said something, Mohammed Sandeng said something, and look at the way he was responding. You can see he didn't like that. But you spend 24/7 talking about Mr. Dabo, talking about this. Yes, these are politically, but I just want to remind, it's not easy.
I'm not.
So also Malama to the right.
Hiri, I think you've spoken, so let's give chance to Amadou.
Bambas, please don't cut me off. People interrupted. Nekuma, then they glue one terek. We have to have patience. But we have time. We're moving on.
No, Doctor, I'm not going to leave him alone because he is
I'm not addressing that.
He's an angry man. Very angry. He's very angry. I don't know why he's angry with UDP. But we are not responsible for DOI not breaking the ice in Gambia. Don't ball fault to UDP for that. Blame the Gambian voters.
Yeah, gifted me. This C-boy gifted me so big. C-boy, thank you very much for the gift. I appreciate it. Hey, Sehul, you cannot control other people and the way they feel. Honestly, you can only control yourself.
No, in fact, from today, let me make a disclaimer. I will never interact this guy on any platform. Today is going to be the last day. If he's on a platform, I'm not joining that discussion.
Can I just say something to my uncle, please?
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm uncle. I don't know if you're listening to me, but this is not ne yangi wants to me or whatever. What is happening? No, explain. Uncle,
no. You see, Mohammed, he didn't like that comment because
I think
this is a guy who spends 2 weeks criticizing
Mohammed,
UDP.
your uncle is gone. Let's continue.
Let's continue this conversation.
I don't uncle lying and
say something to my uncle, please.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm uncle. I don't know if you're listening to me. But this is not ne yangi wants to me or whatever. What is happening? No, explain.
Uncle, no. You see, Mohammed, he didn't like that comment because
I think
this is a guy who spends 2 weeks criticizing
Mohammed,
UDP.
your uncle is gone. Let's continue.
Let's continue this conversation.
I don't uncle lying and they are near.
Mohammed, go after your uncle. You messed your uncle up. That's your problem.
Discourse. Then you wanna be civil. Because right now, mom sagut si voice man sagu si small voice. Why si comments man ma ngi deglu mom lu nekk di wax. Okay, mom tay mom suma uncle la hina mom suma on tram dina am suma uncle la ba pare man suma that all of the people he's related to, most of them we have this very nice maybe suma on tram tay dina xam ne is a very beloved uncle to me. While the fact is ne luma don explain, it gets back to luma don explain. Mo nekk ne we have to be civil when we talk about when we talk. Mom, okay, see voice be never on the anything. Why I see comments, he was saying very, very distasteful things. Yeah, you understand? And man, I didn't even respond to that. What I respond to is the approach of him and people like him in political discussions like this, right? Why the point Lumanekadi make is very simple. Let's take it civil. Yeah, you understand? Take money man halela mom in his opinion and I mean
Today's the last day. I'm happy.
You know, so it has to be civil. Man, I don't have an interest in back and forth the
defend UDP or they defend anybody.
Let's
I just said it has
Who's
to
coming next? Bambas, you wanna come next?
No, why
Amadou mo wara wax, please.
Amadou, come up.
Domiromi, is Domiromi sleeping? I don't understand because this platform doesn't have control.
No, I'm not connected.
I'm not going to moderate.
Okay. They have this nature as well. So
I think good questions came on. Manako good questions came on. Hiri, how many fake on at the beginning of the discussion? But maybe by new table out questions and the dilemma that we face. So we give a proper solution. It is good.
Yeah. Can I say something? Because I think we need to talk about.
Let's listen to each other. When somebody is speaking, you cannot just cut him off.
My lecture on question why it got lost in the living go back and forth be. Well, legit. Luma buga wax moy ñaari things can be true. Nit mën na liggéeyal dëkkam struggle def lu mu war a def ñafe génn risk life am taxawal dëkkam because dafa sonna pour dafa bañ nit ñi sonna buñ sonna muy continuer te loolu war nañ ko recognize.
Look at he's insulting again. Oh my God. Sorry, Amadou. Sorry.
Why can I insult you?
No, not you. No, I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
This guy is insulting on the platform. Sorry, that's fine. Sorry. I thought I was...
Okay. Wow. Legi.
So I'm going to say you won't get fair cook Cosby.
Wait. Balulu. Manamarus. I'm going to say it's my uncle. Manamarus. And I still don't know who he is. Balulu.
Wow, legi lolo lolo mun naa nekk dëgg waaye tamit ay njub de xew na te loolu tamit war nañ ko recognize ñu accept ne lii xew na balaa ay il faut ñu juboo wala ku nekk am na li ngay ñaaw xel si sa morom loolu war nañ koo table ñu waxtaanee ko su ko defee juboo war a mun a am waaye bu dee ne comme ñun pare wuñ pour accept ne comme wala pare wuñ pour recognize li xew démba pour table ko pour waxtaanee ko regardless of how difficult it might be waxtaan yooyu dafa war a am bu dee ne comme we are really serious about forming a coalition waxtaan yooyu war naa mun a am te su amee war nañoo recognize ne lii xew na te war nañoo teg ay sartani lii ak lii despite lii xewoon lii ak lii war nañ ko mun a teg si table bi bu ko defee dinañ mun a mitigate lu xewoon démba so man foofu laa bëgg a yóbbu waxtaan bi te laajte woon naa fii nii UDP members yi fi nekk lan ngeen di mën a propose c'est seen opinion ne noonu lañ war a taxawalee coalition bi te lu xewoon démba ñu war ko mën a mitigate.
Amadou, I'll just come in here to say I don't think okay yaa ngi wax ne UDP members yi but léegi ndax UDP members yu nekk si platform bi guys agree nañ ne ñoom they were the I don't know if that's what you're saying but just correct me if just tell me if that's what you mean if that's your position also ne UDP is the cause of lu xew si coalition bi wala it's only UDP and UDP's leader bi Ousseynou moom rek moo am wala moo misstep wala moo misspeak si mbiri coalition is that what you mean?
Okay so dégloo sama bu baax specify yu ma ne comme UDP kese ñoo nekk problème bi wala ñoo def mistakes yi wala ñoo def li nga xam ne warut wala ñoo ñu lead here.
So
loolu
okay, so what is
arama ñëw
no dama la laaj xam naa wax nga li nga wax dama ne what is the reason lu tax you are asking the UDP members and not the others?
Gisuma fi beneen political party bu fi nekk UDP members yi waaw understand Sobeyaa nekkuñu woon si coalition bi
PDOIS ñu fa woon.
Wow, PDOIS new phone, but right now, few members of NEC, I don't believe we have a PDOIS member fee.
Well, I'm sorry. Pour ñu living be a straight discussion here. Are we talking about a potential coalition, or we are talking about the previous coalition?
A potential one.
Because if we are talking about a potential coalition, I think Sobeyaa might be part of that, and in fact,
of course,
most probably they will be part of it. So why?
Of course.
So So then the question that Mohammed asked is still valid. So why isn't the question directed to all the potential members of the potential coalition?
So this is my question. So UDP Munde no take a shot at the question, and then man I can answer for Sobeyaa.
Good.
Okay, man. Let me go first for UDP.
And it's getting civil again.
No.
Okay,
Let me go for
neutral.
UDP.
I'm gonna moderate. So let me moderate since I'm neutral. Okay.
Okay, you're
so
neutral.
When
fine.
I
think this question, Amadou, has been asked multiple times. Okay. We've been asked this question. Same question keeps coming. Yes, we need to know the past. If we want to come out, or we want to form a coalition 2026, we need to revisit the past, learn from our mistakes, and try to avoid replica of those mistakes for 2026. I think that is the genesis of your question. And UDP's position, like I am not here talking officially on behalf of UDP. I'm just giving my personal opinion because I'm not a member of the UDP National Executive. Our position is explicit from day one. UDP's position is party-led approach. Okay, and we say other people bring your position to the negotiating table, and then we see whether we'll have convergence. But to say, obviously, I think UDP has learned lessons from the past naturally. I don't think we will go into an agreement where this idea of 3 years will come in, which brought a lot of issues when we have a constitution that says 5 years. And obviously, we want to have everything in blueprint, and everything has to be documented. And if we are going to have an agreement, it's not going to be hastily done like it was done last time, because last time people were so desperate for Jammeh to go that all what people are interested in was just to have a coalition and get rid of Yahya Jammeh. And I think things were not properly done. And obviously, like the misinformation being spread, and like people come to platforms and blame UDP for. Today we've heard from Oz, like even Alifa when he outlined the coalition agreement. There was nothing that was agreed on how they will approach the parliamentary elections. But people came out here blaming Mr. Dabo for spoiling an agreement, for reneging on an agreement that was never an agreement, because that has been spewed on many platforms.
So, a clarifying question. I'm going to do, guys, allow me to act like a journalist here.
I want to also talk, I want to also talk a little bit, guys.
You will talk. No, Degulu, please, bro. We'll allow you to talk. Just let me act like a journalist. So, UDP online Bandawa Sehuda, I just wanted to clarify one thing. And then
but they're only UDP talking here, so it's not only UDP.
No, that's not
here,
true.
bro.
It's not, Bob is Sobeyaa, Amadou is Sobeyaa, they both spoke. You see, this is why you guys come and attack us.
This platform is not for UDP,
Okay, we can drop off if it is not UDP.
You understand this?
By the way, Mohammed is not UDP though.
Okay. If it is not UDP platform, we can drop off. You guys can continue the discussion.
Yeah, no problem. You can drop, bro.
No problem. You have your platform.
This is how they found picture posted and mocking him anyhow. So why you people want to? And when people talk about what is the problem? No, bro. You people need to stop this, man.
So, you want one thing, you want a party-led coalition. Then the other thing, you will have to look into the agreements of the coalition. So, are you saying that, for as far as UDP is concerned, if you can speak for UDP, they are
No. I think what I said was very clear. I was very explicit. I said my views here. I'm not speaking on behalf of UDP because when you go to coalition talks. UDP has already, many people don't know. I can say this publicly. Initial phase of the coalition talks started in Gambia, okay? And our party leader sent representatives there to those talks, okay? And they took
when did that start?
Well, in the last few weeks, okay? There was meeting held, okay? So we stated our position there. I'm not going to say what the state of it, but that's because that was a private meeting. I'm not going to say what was discussed there, but we went there with our position. And other partners that were there, what I knew, the information I was given was two of the opposition parties didn't send representatives there, so that actually didn't help the process. So, but we went there, and the other people also stated their positions, and at the minute, there's a stalemate, all right? There's a stalemate in the sense that that is not the end of the road, but it's the beginning of a process. So our position from day one, from 1994, Mr. Dabo has said it, many people have said it, UDP's position is, when it comes to coalition, it's party-led. And other people don't agree, so that's our stance, party-led, yeah?
Okay, Real G, I have a question for you. Real G, which party are you supporting?
Yeah, I'm supporting Sobeyaa.
Do you think that Sobeyaa should join a coalition?
Coalition?
Yeah, in 2026.
Yeah, of course. Why not? If they want to, why not?
So if Sobeyaa should join a coalition, and then the leader is not a APP Sobeyaa member, do you think they should support it?
The leader should be who then?
If the leader, so if Njit Buga Ijel in the coalition, Koguneko APP Sobeyaa member, do you think that Sobeyaa should support that person?
Kamo wara jite.
No, so if Keden la kudu Sobeyaa member.
No, I have to know the person.
If the person is not Sobeyaa, you think that they should be supported.
Man suma interest bi mo nek Gambia lan mo koy jëmale ci kanam lan moy waral mu génn ci situation bu mu nekk nii yaa gis su nekkee ne Mama Kandela wala kii nu mu tuddati how to call it Sene Dabo anyhow, if they have intention to move this country forward, from this mess, of course, why not? Because it's not me agreeing that is ESA agreeing that things, so come ESA momo koy nangu. So nekene ESA nangu na lol non. Wow, mun no koy nangu. Yeah. Why man suma problem bi mo nekene 2017 2018 the fini si Europe bi fini dañ fi sign on papers delu boys yaa gis paper boy delo ji won nonu mo gina tax sa dëkk bi metti yaa gis bienen ni dañoo ñëwaat dugaat ci bagu bi reat seen bop fofu nonu ñeneen ñu yóbbu leen Arabie Saoudi ñu ngi leen liggéey fofu liggéey jaam ñeneen ñu ngi ci dëkk bi di sàcc di tux yamba ñu leen ci prison. So nobody talking about that after ken waxut kan mo sign paper bi the time boobu noonu Israel da moo nekkoon foreign minister bi. So kii nii nu mu tuddati Dabo waxut ne moom moo ko sign naka la nu mu tuddati Barrow tam waxut ne moo ko sign. So these things also have to be clear, explain, Then you
we want to focus on that's important. Why don't want to focus on the coalition? So let's just ask.
Yeah, of course. Lola nekadi wani. What na loko be pare mane.
No, answer the question already. You answered the question. That's why I didn't want you to go outside of the question.
Let me just help him here. I think
Mama, don't go outside of the topic. Let's stay in topic. Stay on topic.
Let's stay on topic then.
Mama, my question to you is, you know, as a Gambian, you know what happened in the Gambia, right?
Yes.
And then there was a coalition in 2016.
Yep.
And then you know that your family has been seriously affected by this.
Right.
So knowing that reality, that what has happened. So looking at the situation right now in the Gambia in 2026, what is your thought in terms of Gambia coming together again, and if we should come together to avoid the mistakes we've made in the past? We just give you 2 minutes.
I think, first of all, it's a coalition. A coalition is the solution. Without a coalition, we can't unseat Barrow. That's right. And man, I'm not an actor in any of the political parties, not even UDP. So what I will say to that is, if they go and discuss, whatever they discuss and what they come out with, if it's the opposition agreeing to form a coalition, I will support that coalition regardless of who becomes finally the head of that coalition. That's my position. Why? Is because Lumalawa, I understand my limitations. I'm not an actor. I don't go sit on the discussion table to discuss. So I will not push any position of, for example, UDP online wa ne, you know, nyom party-led coalition la more support. Man, I don't mind whether it's a party-led coalition or it's an independent-led coalition, right? But what I know also are things I know. Numbers matter, but also consensus and also agreement matters. So why the bottom line is whatever comes out as a coalition, right, is what I will support. That's my point. A coalition to unseat Barrow, I will support that, right? The same way, at this point, the same way Bumneke won, the coalition 2016 has a lot of flaws because it was about unseating an individual, right? So in Tahawalon, whoever, people were gonna go for it. Why now? Maybe we have a choice to like really sit and deliberate and get to where we get to. Why knowing also that is the problem with Gambia. Purunyu agree on some things that they overlap because mostly, it's not rational. Sundemesi discussion, the coalition is not rational because from the NAT down to, the longest time from NAT, NADD, all the way, I am privy to, I understand some of the reasons, some of the problems. Luta coalition munutona luta Halifa Sallah Ousainou Darboe mënuñoo wana agree ak ñom Amad Ba pour ñu amone coalition depuis time in NAT ak yoyu non yep. I know maybe that's not important to come back and say here, but my position is I will support a coalition any day. That's my position.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Bambas, you heard what you Sehu said, his own thoughts, and that, what time during the what time see affair coalition 2026. So you also dig a very coalition. You as a UDP member, lan mo in your Sahel, what comes into your mind? Bambas, please.
Wow, thank you so very much, Hiri, Mr. Journalist, tonight. Okay. Man suma déggee affaire coalition lu dee ñëw si suma mind bi first of all moo dee nekk dama dee bëgg a reflect back on our history in 2016. First of all dama dee grateful gërëm ñoo xamante ne ñoom ñoo ñëw together form that 2016 coalition. Coalition 2016 boobu noonu dégg la like the previous speakers ni ko waxee am nañ fa ay mistakes yoo xamante ne some sort comments yoo xamante ne jàng nañ ci yooyu noonu waaye li si gën a fees moo nekk ne man I am so proud and grateful to those leaders ñoo xamante ne ñoom ñoo ñëw together to form that coalition. Parce que lu tax ma wax loolu moo nekk ne when they were forming that coalition boobu fekk suñ dëkk bi was in a serious mayhem because time boobu noonu kenn du la mun a wax wala kenn du mun a guarantee kenn ne you wouldn't have been the next victim of Jammeh by then. So loolu tax na sax affect na coalition bi in some ways moo tax am na yeneen shortcomings sax gars yi am ko si coalition bi because everybody was desperate at the moment at that time pour Jammeh dem like ñu njëkk a wax lu ñu ko waxee mooy dëgga coalition bi was li si lim gën a focus moo nekk na Jammeh dem in fact in 2016 balaa élection bi sax dem nañ sax ba ñooy dégga sax nit ñi di wax ne sax suñ tegee xaj sax against Jammeh xaj bi la ñooy votal loolu ñun dégga nañ ko si struggle bi so loolu moo laa woon ne time boobu noonu how desperate Gambians were pour Jammeh dem so njiit ñoo xamante ne ñoo ñëw together with all their differences ñu ñëw together form that coalition boobu mu ñëw génnee Jammeh. I think we need to be so grateful to those leaders. No matter how you disagree a guy, no matter how you gis na guy def nañ yeneen fault waaye dañ leen war a respect dañ leen war a jox jiw boobu noonu because liñ def moo tax léegi Gambia duñ dee dégga ñu arrest nit dem tëj ko mile 2 comme nu mu leen neexee wala moo tax duñ gis léegi nit toog si kiram rek nga gis benn pick-up bu ñëw ak tinted glass ñëw rek ñu dugga sa kir jël sa broda wala jël sa daat ñu sànni ko si pick-up bi yóbbu ko te doo xam fan lañ ko yóbbu loolu moo tax loolu yëpp nekk ko am si Gambia boobu and again bokk na si tamit nit ku nekk sa first experience doo mën a ñàkk foofu noonu ay texa doo mën a ñàkk foofu noonu ay mistakes yoo xamante ne si sa first experience du mën a ñàkk loolu moo tax nit ñi ñoo xamante ne dañ dee foog ne a potential coalition will be like 2016 wala ñuy wax ne bëgguñ 2016 li fi amoon mu amaat lii ne I think they've been just kind of naive because léegi fu mu nekk nii Gambians are not in that desperate situation boo xamante ne dinañ just jump rek ñu ne coalition na Adama Barrow dem rek no it's not gonna work like that this time around because jànga nañ si coalition 2016 léegi coalition su ñooy teg coalition it has to be based on strong agreements yoo xamante ne they will not violate our constitution te tamit dinañ am agreements yoo xamante ne yii man suma gis-gis la de man li ma yaakaar si suñ leaders yi this is what I think they will do ne dañoo am strong agreement te agreements yooyu noonu duñ nekk ne ñii di wax ne sign nañ ko ñii di wax ne signuñ ko bii lañ agree déedéet bii lañ agree non li gaay di agree it has to be out there for the public to know ñoom lan lañ agree Gambia yëpp xam ko all the voters ñoo xamante ne ñun ñooy decide kan la ñooy yóbbu State House right dañ war a xam lan la gaay agree man foog naa ne lii yëpp nekk na yoo xamante ne factor wuñ ko in the 2016 coalition due to the desperation comme ni ma ko waxee moo tax ñu am yooyu noonu yëpp.
Okay, thank you very much, Bambas.
I think it is going to be different, and I think our leaders dina ñu sigal once again this time around du nekk comme 2016 nu mu fa demee woon.
jërëjëf Bambas jërëjëf si sa ansa bi sa wax bi rafet na so waaye Amadou la ñoo ñëw Amadou lu ma la bëgg a laaj ne xam naa ne keroog sa waa ji ñëw na fii di leader of APP Sobeyaa moom buñ ko doon laaj affaire yi coalition mun naa remember ne man doon seetaan laaj bi mu ne moom bañul affaire coalition waaye Mr Fall mu ne su fekkee coalition di am na nekk koo xam ne gars yi jiital koo xam ne dina win so an electable candidate so moom based on the type of leader bu fa nekk mooy tax daal mu mën a bokk si coalition so yow si sa gis-gis ñaari question la bëgg a laaj da nga foog ne 2026 suñ bëggee win Barrow change government we need a coalition to do that su fekkee tamit need nañ coalition yow nan nga foogee ne that coalition should be established Amadou.
Dégg naa some few people ñu fi nekkoon coalition rek mooy mun a génne Barrow but I beg to differ ne loolu dañoo wax si seen xalaat because tey jii Gambien yi buñ jógee ne dañ bëgg a sànni benn political party wala benn candidate foog naa ne Gambien yi buñ ñëpp jógee support kooku noonu kooku dina win and loolu loo xam ne war naa mun a nekk understand nga man duma rule out that possibility waaye xam nga lu gaay day wax ñu ne mbooloo mooy doole bu dee tamit coalition am na loolu mun na increase the chances of pour ñu unseat Barrow fii nii te bu dee ne comme loolu tam la suñ njiit yi decide pour def si sa second question bi man gom naa ne li nga lu suma njiit bi wax APP Sobeyaa lu ESA wax in terms of ban façon njiit la ñoo tànn I completely agree with that du nekk njiit boo xam ne dafa ñëw mel ni Barrow for example koo xam ne is incompetent du mun a taxawal dëkk bi du mun a génne dëkk bi si problème buñ nekk nii second gom naa ne war dañoo mun a am solid agreements yoo xam ne dina tax li xewoon démb du fi xewaat di leen teg dinañ teg ay leeral yu baax ba pare tamit war nañ ko war a publicize nit ñi xam si lan la ñoo dugal nga benn mistake buñ defoon yaa am neen gentleman agreement waaye kenn mënul laa wax ne lii ak lii ak lii lañ fa def ba tey jii kenn waxul understand nga so gëm naa ne leneen luñ war a def mooy ñu publicize everything dëkk bi yëpp xam ne waa coalition bi lii lañ agree on buñ toogee lii ak lii la ñoo def National Assembly bu jotee nii ak nii elections bu jotee lii ak lii la ñoo def nii la ñoo selecté suñ cabinet members yi understand nga ñu leeral every single thing ko defee ëllëg si biir bu dee réeroo am na Gambien si dañ xam kan nañoo point fingers to understand nga di leen xam ñu déggu ak ñu déggu te dina ubbi boti Gambien si man suma gis-gis noonu laa foog ne lañ war a taxawalee coalition bu war a am su dee dina am.
Okay, great. Yow sa gis-gis bi leer na loolu kay sa wax boobu kay leer na booy te rafet na tamit waaye Cuba Brief yow lu ma la bëgg a laaj mooy yow last time coalition bu mu amoon Halifa nu mu ko waxoon ñu def 3 years nga xam ne ku nekk président mu waaca then kooku su wàccee then we select du taxawaat ñu select ay new leader koo xam ne mooy ñu ron parti si yëpp ronal seen boppa xam nga but that didn't go through xam ne loolu we don't want to go back to that waaye si sa xalaat da nga foog ne suñu waree def coalition again you know ndax we should do the same style or dañ ko war a change suñ ko waree change si sa xalaat naka lañ ko waree def and da nga foog ne daal coalition is the only option pour génne fa Barrow Kuba Brief.
Thank you, Hiri. Dama buga man waxoon naa ko fii man that is my stand ne pour ñu mun a unseat the ruling government fuñ jaar ñu soxla coalition and lu tax ma wax loolu Adama I think Amadou waxoon na ko fii mu ne du moom kenn sax ñu bari suñu waxee loolu lañ dee wax ne nit ñi ñu ngi waxee si seen opinions. I beg to differ a little bit lu tax ma ne ma differ because loolu lu nit ñi di wax nekkuñ di ko wax si opinion dañ ko nekk di wax si gestu yoo xam ne nit ñi gestu nañ ko si suñ history bi and also so su fekkee ne ñu ñëpp we are honest to ourselves tey si plateforme bi fii soo ne APP Sobeyaa kaay leen ñu dem jàppa Halifa ñëpp duñ ko nangu any other party noonu la ñun Gambia fu mu nekk ni we are party divided ku nekk am nga sa party boo support te lu mun di xew like fii ñu ko doon waxee you talk about party people feel obliged ne they have to defend so dëkk bu mel noonu xam nañ ne suñ amut coalition ne rek kaay leen ñu jóg ñun ñëpp ñu seet kenn dem fa practically ak looking at our situation loolu du sooti lu ko mun a sooti loo mooy kooku njiit bum gom kele tamit njiit bum gom kele si parti bum nekk parti boobu njiit yi jóg ne dañ bugg a booloo gom naa ne loolu moo war a mun a indi mbooloo that is why the coalition is important suñ ko buggee am naka lañ ko mun a amee ba make so 2016 du happen mooy we need to be honest with ourselves ñun as Gambians ñun as political leaders ñun as people belonging to political parties naka la ñoo honeste si suñ boppa mooy tànna njiit boo xam ne dina win kan mooy njiit bu mun a win because kenn mun tax wax balaa election waaye lu dee tax ñu gëm ne njiit bi war naa win wala kii warta mun a win mooy borom track record yu mu fi bàyyi borom lan la fi defoon lan la fi waxoon ba nit ñi mun koo jàppa lan la fi defoon lan la fi waxoon luy tax nit ñi duñ ko jàppa te loolu suñ koy waxtaan that is why am na ku ko fi laajte mu ne suñoo waxtaan ñuy isi mistakes let us just be honest to each other ñu mun a nangu ku nekk yow sa warugal boo defoon ñu nangul la ko ne ñu la jërëjëf ku am warugal boo defut ñu ne la waaji juumoon nga si lii pour ñu am coalition now in 2016 suñ njiiti suñ nangoo man gëm naa ne it will be better far more better than the coalition 2016 su fekkee ne dañ déggu mooy toog waxtaan coalition bu passé bi lan moo ko yaaxa every one of the topics, every one of those issues need to be addressed, and there needs to be things on paper pour loolu su waree xew naka lañ ko mitigate mooy su fekkee ne dañ d'accord ne 3 years la coalition leader bi di toog right constitution bi 5 la wax right suñ koy binda dañ war a toog ñu binda ko mu set ñu make sure léegi nañ make sure mu go by the constitution su demee by the constitution ñun ñëpp xam nañ ne léegi lii lañ d'accord lan moo taxoon mu fail because afa am ku jéenoon mu ne nii keneen jéena mu ne nene loolu su naree xew naka lañ mun a def yow kenn soo waxee yow kenn nga ñun ñi si des nañ jóg ñu taxaw make sure ne yow li ngay wax su fekkee ne méngoo wut ak ñun luñ d'accord ñun ñëpp dinañ taxaw against that suñ munee am these things written and issues addressed frankly buñ ko waxtaanee si suñ political interest mooy ne suñ ne waaw yow sa parti lii la fi defoon lu correct keneen ne waaw loolu warta am because moom bokk si parti boobu déedéet ñu mun a tànn njiit bu jub mooy oo nit ñi ñu ñëw because ku nekk fii 2016 yàggut ñun ñëpp gisoon nañ li fi xew nga toog ñu ne waaw ok may lañ bëgg a jiital wóor nañu ne kooku soo ko jiitalee ñu bari dinañ fa toog duñ ko nangoo toppa because gis nañ fi lu mu fi defoon lu mu fi waxoon si 2016 dama junju si may because bëgguma tudda nit ñi seen tur yi because out of respect waaye yéen ñëpp xam ngeen fu may waxee mooy